So good evening. Good evening. So happy to see you all here. Welcome to your house, Brooklyn Borough Hall. I am Antonio, the president of the greatest borough in the city of New York, which is Brooklyn first and foremost. Let the record note that there was consensus that Brooklyn is the greatest borough in the city of New York. Look, I want to say thank you all for being here. The fact that you guys took time to show up for this important issue really reflects how important it is to you. And I want to speak to what we can accomplish here today and what I think can actually work. I want you to think about the conviction you have and how important this issue is for you individually. I don't even want you to think about everybody else yet, but think about how important it is for you, how much conviction you have over this issue and what you believe and how deep it is in your soul and your heart about what it is that you want, right? I want you to think about that. And I want you to know that there's another person in this room that has a completely different opinion from you that has that exact same conviction, how that deepness and how they feel. And I think that's important to know because I think that the things that won't be reflected on the record when we submit our recommendation to the Department of City Planning is any of the noise that is made, any of the jeers and cheers that are made, any of the squabbling, the screaming, all that stuff, none of it is going to be reflected on the record. Not one of it. It's reflected with me. I see this. Remember, I hosted a meeting in Coney Island, and I felt this too. We made public every single thing that we got from that. Even the people that cursed, we wrote the curse words in the report so that you guys know that we're not holding back on what we want to see. We are doing our best under this process to try to make sure you feel heard. But I think there's value in being able to listen to people without thinking that they don't have the same conviction you have, even if you disagree. We're in a time right now when what people want us to do is people with little to fight against people with less. That's what they want us to do all the time. They want us to focus on killing each other so that we don't pay attention to what's happening on top. But I want us to try our best here, even if you disagree with something. Whatever they said is going to be on the record. Whatever you say is going to be on the record. And in both of them, there's going to be like an equal, there's not going to say this person was angrier than this person, or this person was more emotional than this person, or this person is right and this person is wrong. None of that will be there. The only thing that you will see is your comments. So let's respect each other's comments and let's let them go on the record. The faster we do that, the faster you get them out, the comments out, and the faster you get to go home, which is, I think, something we all want to do to go watch my novelas. But I also want to say this. This process is terrible. Every single part of this process is terrible. The state of New York has put us in a position where we're trying to make lemonade out of apples, and we just can't. We're in a position where even after today, we're going to be presenting something to the applicant, and there is no real way that the applicant can do what we ask in the timeline that we have to submit a recommendation to DCP. Not in a reasonable way, because we have to submit to DCP by Thursday. If there was a process that truly respected the voices that we're about to hear today and the opinions that I have as borough president, it would be much longer than allowing for my land use team 3 days to be able to get something to them and get something in return. It puts us in a bad position. The applicant is not in a good position. They are not, because they have to convince everyone in Coney Island and in this city that their application is the best application with short timelines, with no community-based process, with no systems that truly give a real opportunity for input to come into them. They can't get that. Best case scenario, they can't get that. And then the community doesn't feel heard. The community is trying to compensate for the terrible process by making more noise, by shouting, by making sure you hear them. At least they can use their vocal cords if you're going to give them a crappy process. I know that. I know that this process is terrible. I did not choose it. And now at this moment, the process forces me to act by law. It's asking me to do something. Mind you that open hearings like this don't happen everywhere. This is very unique to Brooklyn. In other places, the borough presidents just move through the process without a public hearing. Not here. I want to make sure that people see you. I want the applicant to get as much information as they can, whether or not this is going to happen. We need to make sure that they hear you and they respect it. We have people with opposite opinions that do care about jobs, that do care about other things. We want to hear them too. But I want us to do our best. It's going to be hard because we care so much. It's going to be hard. But again, your comments will not, the frustration or the emotion that you have will not be expressed on your comments. That's what I wanted to say. The second thing is that I think is important. Try your best to speak to the merits of the issue at hand today, which is the demapping. That's very important because technically, we have to give back comments on a demapping. So let's say you want jobs. I want jobs. How is that reflected on the demapping? If it's not, it's going to make it so that you're making a comment that doesn't have any technical value to the demapping. So when you think about demapping, it's public space that's being taken away, for example. Speak to that. Try to keep to the subject at hand on a technical level. Try your best. That's very important because then we get to make the argument based on the information and data that we're getting from the community related to the demapping. That is very important. So try your best if you have those comments to present those with us. The next thing is we're not making any decision here. Also, the CAC is what they're called. The committee is called the CAC. I will be in the CAC. I'm not going to appoint anybody. I'm not going to try to hide and say, hey, let me put this person in. And if they say yes, it's like, oh, I don't know. If they say no, oh, I don't know. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the representative. I'm not going to put that pressure on anybody. I'm going to take all that pressure. I want all the smoke. All right? Because I want to be held accountable for whatever decisions I make. Always. I want to expend all my political capital to do what I think is best for this borough, and I'm not going to hide. Okay? No decision has been made, but I really need to get your comments on this. The next thing is because this process is set forth by the state, there's another meeting that I do have. So I wanted to present myself here. I was going to do a video, and I thought it was not a good thing to do. I wanted you guys to see my face and hear my voice. My team is very prepared. They have a lot of questions for the applicant. And you will hear in those questions that we are going to be asking how serious we're taking this. They will not be leaving in 5 minutes. They will be having to answer questions. And the ones that they can answer need to get answered within a 2 or 3 day span. And they have to get that to us. And they know that. Okay? So I'm just doing that to do the best I can at table setting. Okay? Try your best to listen to each other, even if you disagree. Your emotions will not be recorded, unfortunately. Try your best to keep it to demapping and understanding that the best you can. You don't need to do that, but try your best. And then the last thing is that the applicants will have to answer every single question that we have here from us. Unfortunately, once they're done, not unfortunately, you guys are going to speak, but unfortunately, they can't answer your questions, but they answer my questions. But they can still sit here, which they will. I expect them to stay until every last comment is made. They will be listening to you or hearing you. And we're going to find out if they're listening to you long term. But I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. I want to thank you all for being here today. I hear you. I know how controversial this is, but I want to try your best. And if anybody knows me here, I truly come from a place of love. I love you all. No matter how angry you are or how happy you are, it's love across the board. I do love you. You guys are going to do great today. Thank you so much. And don't forget to spread love. Thank you so much. Now, we're going to start over. This is Erin. Everyone, I want everybody to say hi to Erin. Erin is not me. Erin is a person that is hired to do this work in this office. She is a public servant, and she's going to try the best she can here. And I want you to do the best you can to treat her with as much respect as possible, okay? They're going to be answering questions. You're going to hear them. You're going to know what's up, okay? All right? We got Tal as well. Say hi to Tal. Also, they're going to do right by you guys, okay? We're here for it, okay? We're here for it. So thank you so much, and take it away. Thank you, Erin. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Good evening. As the Borough President said, I'm Erin Wright, Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy for the Borough President.
And I am Tal Litwin, Planning and Policy Analyst for Borough President Antonio Reynoso.
This Uniform Land Use Review Procedure public hearing is being conducted from the Brooklyn Borough Hall courtroom on Monday, March 10th, 2025. Please note that this hearing is being streamed via WebEx and recorded to comply with the Open Meetings Law. This video will later be posted on the Brooklyn Borough Presidents YouTube channel. We have one item on the agenda this evening. Following the applicant's presentation and any questions from the chair, members of the public who are in attendance tonight will be invited to testify on the application. All comments will be limited to 2 minutes. While this meeting is being live streamed, we do not accept virtual testimony, but members of the public may also submit comments to testimony@brooklynbp.nyc.gov for the Borough President's consideration until 5 p.m. on Friday, March 14th. Please call this item.
Calendar item 1, the Coney Development, ULURP number C250108MMK. A private application by TSG Coney Island Entertainment, Holdco LLC for demapping actions along portions of Bowery, Stillwell Avenue, and West 12th Street. Approval of the requested action would facilitate the development of a 1.3 million square foot multi-use development that includes a gaming facility, convention center, hotel, event space, structured parking, a new rooftop open space, and other amenities in Coney Island Community District 13. On January 22nd, 2025, Community Board 13 issued an unfavorable recommendation for this application. Please state your name and present this application.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay? Great. Thank you all. My name is Jody Stein. I'm Land Use Counsel for the Coney, and I'm here to present our application before you today. Let's see if this works. Perfect. So our application before you today, the project team includes Global Gaming, Thor Equities, Saratoga Casino and Hotel, as well as consultants including Legends, Sam Schwartz, FX Collaborative, and Shepard Mullen. Okay. So the application, which the Borough President talked about today, which is why we're here, is a city map amendment. It has 2 parts. The first part is a demapping, and the second part is a grade change along Stillwell Avenue. So first, just to get our bearings, let's talk about the site location. In the larger map, you'll see that to the west is West 17th Street. That's to the left. Maimonides Park is there. To the right is the aquarium and West 8th Street. At the top of the map, you'll see the subway. And then right below it, you can see in red outlines is the project area. To the south is the beach and the boardwalk. And then to all surrounding it is outlined in green and blue, which includes park area and area that is under the jurisdiction of EDC. Those areas outlined in yellow, which you know well, are landmarks and attractions, including things like the Cyclone and the aquarium, Maimonides Park, and other amusements in the area. Okay, now that we're situated, we can focus in on the actual site plan. Maybe. There we go. Oh. Okay. So as I said, there's 2 parts to this application. The first is the demapping. And so you'll see Surf Avenue to the north at the top of the screen, Wonder Wheel Way at the bottom of the screen, West 15th to the left, and West 12th to the right. So along Bowery, which is in the center, between Stillwell Avenue and West 12th Street, we're proposing to demap that portion of Bowery, which is also owned by the applicant. And that's in blue. In yellow, along Stillwell Avenue and West 12th Street, are segments that are volumes of air that we're also seeking to own above the street. So let's get in to see what this facilitates. So the demapping of those areas facilitates this proposed project here. And as you can see, it fronts on the amusement area and Wonder Wheel Way. And I want to point out some of the areas that specifically, which we looked at in yellow before, the demapping volumes. They facilitate the Stillwell Bridge, which is on the left-hand side, and then the West 12th Bridge, which is on the right-hand side of the proposed project. I want to take a moment to just point out within the proposed project, and we'll get into this a little bit more, but there's an escalator. It's outlined in yellow. It looks like a V or an arrow right in the center of the screen at the bottom, towards the bottom. And this leads up to the open rooftop area, which is over an acre of green space that can be accessed by the public without entering into the gaming facility at all. It can be accessed right from Stillwell Avenue. There's both elevators and escalators that go right up to the green space, and anyone can visit it. Okay, the second part of this application is a site grading plan. So we are proposing to raise the grade on Stillwell Avenue for purposes of flood mitigation. So if you could see at the top of the screen is Surf Avenue, currently is at an elevation of 4.76. We're proposing that at its intersection with Stillwell Avenue, raising it to 5 feet. And then when you go down towards Wonder Wheel Way, right in the middle at the intersection of Stillwell with Bowery, we're proposing to raise this a foot to 9 feet above 9-foot elevation. And then right under where the Stillwell Bridge would be, we're proposing to raise it another 2 feet to 10.6 elevation. And then back down when you get to the intersection with Wonder Wheel Way to 9.6 to meet the current grade. Another part of this application, which is not this application before the Borough President today, but it is in the larger scope of this process, is the state process with the Gaming Facilities Location Board. And I want to take a moment to talk about it, just so that we're all clear on how the process will run as far as we know. So what we know is a mix of information from the request for applications, as well as from round 1 and round 2 answers to questions as part of the application. So the initial applications are due on June 27th, 2025. After that, as the Borough President stated, individual community advisory committees, or CACs, will be formed for each specific application right after the submission of the applications. Each CAC will be made up of 6 representatives appointed, 1 by the governor, 1 by the mayor, 1 by the local state senator, 1 by the local state assembly person, 1 by the borough president, and then another from the local council member for that particular application. All CACs must vote on their application by September 30th, 2025. If an application is then approved by a 2/3 majority of the CAC, the application gets to move on, and they'll submit a supplemental application to the board by the supplemental return date, which is unknown at the time. It's TBD. But it has to be at a time after September 30th, but before December 1st, when the board will make its decision and give that decision to the New York State Gaming Commission, who will issue licenses by December 31st, 2025. That's what we know so far. And now I'm going to ask Sarah Davis from FX Collaborative, the architect, to come up and go through what this application, this demapping application and grading application facilitates, which is our project. And make sure that.
Thanks, Jody. So on the screen, what you can see is the existing entertainment district. And what would be helpful to understand are a couple of the recent demapping areas that have been occurred from the city. So you'll see the areas that are highlighted in red have recently been demapped by the city to allow for pedestrianization from Wonder Wheel all the way out to the boardwalk and the beach. The other area to point out is the highlighted kind of across that on Wonder Wheel. And on Wonder Wheel Way that has been closed to vehicular traffic as well. So in the existing condition, you can see some of the demapping actions that have occurred on the site. So to understand what the demapping actions are that are proposed, these are the highlights. You can see the areas that are in yellow. These are the areas that are proposed for demapping volumes. Again, these are not demapping the streets along Stillwell or West 12th. It's only demapping the volumes above them. The key reason for that you'll see later on is to really allow for vehicular circulation to be separated from the pedestrian circulation along Stillwell. We really want to encourage and expand the pedestrianization from the boardwalk all the way to Surf to kind of maintain the intent of the demapping exercises that have currently taken place. The other area is in blue along Bowery that we are proposing demapping of the street. So this gives you a glimpse of the proposed project. In the proposed project, you'll see the magenta areas that we're really connecting the boardwalk with Stillwell going again from the beach all the way to Surf as a pedestrian access point. The building itself and the program, I'll start at the street level. The street level is really activated by food and beverage programming on all frontages. These are areas that are open and family friendly. So along Surf Avenue, continuing down Stillwell and into the building itself, allowing for that year-round presence that can be activated both along the exterior and the interior. Once you get into the building, we're also providing parking at the second, third, and fourth floor. And then up at the top of the podium or the base of the building is where the gaming facility is. The gaming facility is really at the central building and the building towards the west or the left on the screen. On the right in the yellow is where the convention space is being proposed. And the convention, is open for a lot of different uses and programs to support the community. At the top of the center building and the west building, you can see again the green space. It's the open roof amenity that is accessible for anyone. At the center of the building as well, at the top of the building is a very large venue, multi-purpose that can be supportive of convention spaces, entertainment support. It can open up into the open roof space as well. And then lastly is the hotel program that's above the convention space. All these programs work interchangeably with one another very nicely. Taking a little closer look at the open roof space, you can see on this slide, it has a lot of different venue opportunities, right? Between open space, smaller spaces, just an opportunity to access visibility for the beach, the city, and all of the amusements surrounding the district. Access again provided from Stillwell. You can take this yellow tube that Jody was mentioning up. It is completely independent of the gaming facility. It's open to anyone that would like to access the space through escalators and elevators to get to the rooftop. Another key component again that we are considering is along Stillwell, we're really focusing on allowing for that pedestrian access again from Surf. You can see this is where your access from the train platform occurs. And we're maintaining both pedestrian access as well as visual access that you can see the Luna Gateway, you can see the beach from the platform. And then of course at the street presence as well, that from Surf, you can see the presence of pedestrian friendly activation on Stillwell all the way from Surf to the boardwalk. It has a visual continuity, but you can see above where we're allowing for traffic to pass over. So we don't have that interchange that has a conflict between vehicles and pedestrians at that intersection.
Right, thank you, Sarah. So we're going to take a look at the vehicular circulation to get around this area. And we'll start with West 12th Street. So first I want to mention that on West 12th Street, on the right side or east, we have we've added a lane of street space from the applicant's property. So we've taken private property and added a lane so that there's 4 lanes coming into and out of West 12th Street. from Surf Avenue. So cars will enter on West 12th Street for this project. They'll come in through this circular driveway, and there's a drop off over there for valet, or they'll go up to the self-park. They'll enter the parking garage and head up to the self-park area. Now, when they leave, there'll be a space internal in the building where they will either go pick up their car from valet, or they'll go back to their car at self-park, and they will traverse over the Stillwell Bridge so that there's no conflict between the pedestrians on Stillwell Walk and the cars that will be up above in the airspace, and then head out of the facility through Bowery on the left-hand side, and they will exit on West 15th Street. While we're on West 15th Street is also where buses will enter. And there will be a bus lobby south of Bowery for buses, for bus drop-off and pickup. Buses can turn around and they can exit on West 15th Street as well. And they can park along the side if there's a short waiting period as well. I want to talk about emergency vehicles for a moment because I know that sometimes emergency vehicles have a hard time getting over here. So pedestrianizing Stillwell Avenue allows for emergency vehicles to easily access the project area. So they'll be allowed throughout the site, but as well, they'll be allowed to go down Stillwell Avenue, as well as Jones Walk, which is a DMAP street, but it acts as an alley right now, which is all the way on the right-hand side of the property. There's loading areas on West 15th Street and on West 12th Street, south of the internal drop-off, as well as Bowery, where they can come in, loading can happen, and they can leave and exit through those same streets. Tenants can access their properties if they operate south of Wonder Wheel Way by just entering on West 12th or West 15th Street. They have that option, and they can access their sites. So some of the transit improvements that we are really excited about, one of which is the ferry. We believe this would be a great addition to the Coney Island area, a ferry at Steeplechase Pier. We've already begun advocating for ferry service here with local elected officials. A ferry service used to operate here. We believe it could operate here again, and we will continue to advocate for a ferry in this area. It would be a great way for people to access the site without using cars. In addition, for public transportation, we're advocating for express subway service. There used to be an express line over here, and we believe that it can operate again as long as there's the travel demand, and we believe that there will be the travel demand in this area for this proposed project. We'd also be providing shuttle service from public transportation hubs such as downtown Brooklyn right here, as downtown Manhattan, Midtown, airports, Flushing, Queens, commercial areas, and that would help to reduce vehicular traffic. And we will be providing employees with incentives to use public transportation, including local hiring, but from wherever employees are coming from, we will be incentivizing them to use and utilize public transportation. For off-site improvements, we'll be providing signage from the Belt Parkway and other local intersections in order to disperse traffic so that not everyone is traveling through the same streets for the project. We'll be changing signal timing and actuation and creating new turning lanes, and we'll be providing pedestrian public safety improvements. On the actual property, as I mentioned before, we're adding a lane of traffic on West 12th Street from the applicant's property. We are providing traffic attendants to assist on West 12th Street and Surf Avenue to help traffic flow and get cars into the site quickly and out of the site quickly. And we'll be providing, Sarah spoke about this, a 100-foot wide public pedestrian thoroughfare on Stillwell, which will connect the subway and Surf Avenue, all the way to the boardwalk and the beach. And I also want to mention that the Sky Bridge, which is facilitated by this demapping, will help that Stillwell Walk, that 100-foot wide public pedestrian area, to be free of cars, so that the cars can travel over the street and not cause any intersection issues between pedestrians and vehicles. So we're really excited. Coney Island is the people's playground. We want to create a year-round, compelling entertainment destination for everybody. We want to generate a community catalyst for economic development for Coney Island. We want to provide a permanent year-round career opportunities. And we want to establish a model of resiliency and sustainability, as well as launch a multimodal transportation plan. And to facilitate this, we're really excited about our $200 million community trust fund. The trust will include a board of directors comprised of local community leaders and stakeholders to guide funding for decisions for local benefits, such as community grants, boardwalk improvements, neighborhood safety and security, creation of new open spaces or to improve existing open spaces, workforce development, resiliency and environmental protection, as well as public art. And those are just some of the things that the fund can be used for. For education and community programs, we're partnering with high schools and colleges and culinary institutions to provide training programs and internships and scholarships, as well as pipelines to opportunities for careers. And in doing so, we're creating jobs, right? For the construction of this project, we're creating 4,500 union construction jobs, 4,000 permanent gaming and hospitality union jobs that have an average salary of $75,000 a year. We have a local hiring preference, which includes with a strategy that includes job fairs at NYCHA houses so that we can hire direct from the community. We have public safety enhancements, which include on-site spaces for NYPD, FDNY, and EMS facilities for both their operation and their vehicles. We have increased lighting and surveillance for the neighborhood surrounding the project, excuse me. And then other improvements include the flood resiliency by raising the grade at Stillwell Avenue, as well as the acre of rooftop open space for public use will be accessible from street level, as Sarah described, and beautified pedestrianized Stillwell Walk, which will lead right to the beach and to the boardwalk. Additionally, we'll have convention space for community events, which would be a great addition for much needed space in the area. So I think one thing we can all agree on is that there is no better place than Coney Island. And it's our hope that the Coney is part of its future. So I thank you and I look forward to taking questions.
Thank you. Excuse me. Excuse me.
I'm gonna go.
Excuse me. Excuse me, everyone. Thank you so much. I ask that you represent. Thank you so much. We have quite a few questions for the applicant team, so we need to move on through the questions so that we can start hearing from all of you. So I appreciate you holding your comments until it is your turn to testify. So we're going to start asking them, and then we'll start calling names for testimony shortly. Can the applicant still build a casino at this site independently from a successful demapping application?
So yes, the applicant owns the 4 parcels of land that
Excuse me.
you.
Can you please hold your comments? We're not able to hear the responses from the applicant. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So yes is the answer. The applicant owns the 4 parcels that you saw today and could build a gaming facility without the demapping and the change in grade on Stillwell. However, without that, the buildings would have to be taller to accommodate each program in the building. And there would be a reduction in the ground floor, street-facing retail space and food and beverage space. The public benefits such as the 1 acre of rooftop open space over the project area would not be able to be accommodated. The proposed vehicular circulation path would have to cross over Stillwell Avenue, causing a conflict with pedestrians, and not allowing for Stillwell Walk to be pedestrianized, which Stillwell Walk today is proposed to have green space, programming, and amenities such as seating. And we would not be allowed to raise the grade for flood mitigation purposes. So those things would not be able to be accommodated.
And have you gone through any of those design alternatives, like massing those out, and would be able to share with us over email?
Yes, I mean, we have spent the last 3 years working on this and it has gone through many design iterations, shaped by valuable feedback from both the city agencies that we've met with as well as community stakeholders. I think we can share what we have. The input though that we've gotten over the last 3 years has really refined our proposal. And I don't know if you recall, but when we first went through the draft scoping for this project, we were proposing on demapping all of the streets surrounding the proposed project. We really scaled that back based on feedback that we've received from the community and from the city. And we're really doing what's only absolutely necessary to support the current project and the public benefits that support that project.
Thank you. Can you explain why the applicant believes this process is required prior to any review by the CAC?
Yeah, so the CAC requires, a project, right? And then right after the CAC process, which ends on September 30th, we have to submit the final application, which is called the supplemental application, by December 1st. So there's some date in there when our supplemental application is going to be due from September 30th to December 1st. And there's just not enough time to go through ULURP in 3 months or less.
So to clarify, you're saying that you would not be able to seek a land use action after being awarded a gaming license by the state?
After being awarded a gaming license, no. And the answer is in the second round of questions. It states that land use approvals must be completed by the supplemental return date, which again is TBD, but has to be after September 30th and before December 1st. And certainly before the award of a license.
And would the applicant be open to submitting an amended demapping application if requested by the CAC?
We don't believe that the state's timeline would allow for such a thing and that the CAC would know that.
Okay.
And any amendment is just a new ULURP. There's not a shorter process.
On parking, the proposal identifies 1,500 spaces will be built, but there will still be a need for nearly 1,000 additional spaces to meet potential demand during peak periods. How do you intend to meet your off-site parking demand needs?
Good evening. My name is Kobit Saxena. I'm with TVLN. We are the environmental review consultants for the project. So the parking shortfall would occur of all the peak periods during the Saturday overnight peak period, and not during the other peak periods that I analyzed. Nonetheless, the parking demand was calculated based on conservative factors. It was like a stress test, and we started with looking at estimates from the casino consultant for the project. And then as we went through the process with inputs from the lead agency, Department of City Planning and DOT, there were other more conservative factors that were considered. For example, we use comparables from Resorts World in Queens, which is not close to subway, doesn't have the kind of subway access that this project does. So it was really like a stress test. And that's what the parking demand was based on. With that, there is a shortfall of all the peak periods we mentioned. It's on the Saturday overnight peak period. And for other peaks, the 1,500 spaces that are provided as part of the project, in combination with on-street parking that is available in the area, there was a detailed parking survey done. There is sufficient capacity to accommodate the parking demand generated by the project. Which also brings us to, again, the parking demand, the transportation analysis did not factor any subway improvements, any transit improvements, any incentives to employees or visitors to use transit, none of that. It was based on transit as it exists today and on assumptions on how people would arrive at the site without any other encouragement or incentives. We have outlined a whole host of travel demand management measures that are pretty much standard for a project of this magnitude. And this project, again, the technical analysis did not consider any of that. So the actual number could be managed to be a lower number if those were in place. But again, this is a stress test. We looked at the worst case scenario in making this analysis.
Thank you. Structured parking is extremely costly to develop. Has the applicant considered including less structured parking in order to increase the investment in public amenities or open spaces?
So I'm sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah,
I
that
was getting at.
structured parking is very costly to develop. And has the applicant considered including less parking in order to increase the investment in public amenities or open spaces?
Yes, it is costly to develop. Would love to probably provide less, but to meet the EIS and the analysis that was done, we were left with, needing to provide this amount of parking. As COVID talked about, no TDM measures were allowed to be taken into account. So this is the most conservative analysis. But if transportation demand measures were able to be taken into account, we do believe that they would significantly decrease our parking demand. Less parking, providing less parking would essentially lower the podium of pretty much the entirety of the project.
Okay. Thank you. Can you discuss the public benefits made possible through the demapping of the streets relative to the proposal? You spoke about some of them, but I think specifically first would like to ask about the programmatic need to connect the sites through the use of sky bridges.
So, okay, sure. So I think that the programmatic need to connect the site through sky bridges, it just provides so many public benefits at this point, including a 1 acre open space on the rooftop of the site.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear the applicant respond to the questions. Thank you so much.
So the public benefits would include the 1 acre green space on the rooftop of the the project, which would not otherwise be capable of designing without the sky bridges, as well as this overpass on Stillwell and the Stillwell Bridge for cars to drive through, so that Stillwell Walk could be a pedestrian throughway. And with Stillwell Walk being a pedestrian throughway, we're going to make it green. We're going to provide amenity space. There's going to be seating, and it will be a great entryway into, from surf down to the boardwalk and the beach. And because of that, we're able to raise Stillwell and provide flood mitigation and make our building, which is above flood mitigation at DFE 13, it'll be able to meet that, which is amazing. What was the second part of your question? You had two.
No, I think that's fine. I think I
Okay.
would add on
Okay.
a few clarifying questions to that. So in terms of the volume of those connections, is a 96-foot and 160-foot volume required for the function of the casino?
Yeah. So the 96-foot volume includes the driveway from parking to go over Stillwell Walk. So I think it is very much necessary there. For as far as the other volume over West 12th Street, it's a little bit more complicated. And that's because the volume on West 12th Street is, it leads to the core of the project. So when you go through the drop off, you go down West 12th and you go through the drop off, you enter into the building. And if you want to go to the convention center, if you want to go to the hotel, you're going to go through West 12th Street. So it includes a lot of those programmatic areas. And it was more complex just to get people from the drop off into that area to create, cohesive flowing
Okay.
project.
Couple more questions on the volume.
Yep.
What considerations have been made in response to community concerns about views and the relationship to the water and neighborhood?
So this has been a big discussion with community stakeholders and city agencies over the last 3 years that we've been working on this, and we've made many changes in response to these discussions with regard to this amusement district and the waterfront. One of the things I think that's very clear is that Coney has a deep history, and we want to respect that. We want to come into it and respect that. So at the same time, as we respect that, we know that in order to have economic development on a year-round basis, we need to bring new development into the entertainment district. Otherwise, you don't have a year-round entertainment district. And so in keeping with the history of Coney, the sky bridges actually pay homage to the historic gateways and arches that existed in the same location 100 years ago. The bridges preserve the view corridors, and they enhance the pedestrian experience from surf to the water, just like they did 100 years ago when Coney Island.
Excuse me, we're not able to hear the responses. Thank you so
When
much.
Coney Island was home to over 1 million visitors annually. So one of the options we're exploring that would continue the view corridors through the actual sky bridges from the boardwalk and beach to Surf Avenue would be to use materials in the sky bridges that mirror the current conditions as they exist at that time. So for example, if you're looking at the sky bridge and it's the middle of the day and it's a beautiful blue day, you would see that beautiful blue sky day with maybe some clouds and the ocean behind it. And it would be mirrored on the sky bridge. That's one of the things that we're exploring.
And would you be amenable to modifying the lower limiting plane?
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you.
Would you be amenable to modifying the lower limiting plane of the volumes? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Excuse me, I'm not able to hear the applicant's response. Thank you.
thank you. We have raised the lower limiting planes in response to community and city discussions over the last few years. And we, in order to raise it more, you'd really be raising the podium heights of the actual buildings because the heights connect to the building. And so to go up any more would actually raise the height of the podiums of the building.
Okay. Thank you. Have a few more questions to get through. The DEIS identifies around 5 hours of incremental shadow on the nearby Luna Playground, and has the applicant considered investing in improvements for this park?
Do you want to answer that? Up to you. So,
Yes, there is an increment on Luna Playground.
Can you
The-
speak a little closer to the mic?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, there is an increment on of shadows on Luna Playground. City Planning and Parks reviewed it as part of the EIS analysis. They determined that the increment would not constitute a significant adverse shadows impact. But you're correct. There is an increment nonetheless, even though it was not deemed significant. And the answer to your question is that, yes, it can be addressed through the Coney Island Trust Fund that Jody had explained earlier in the presentation.
that would actually be something that very much would be exactly what it would be used for, something like that.
The tunnel proposed on Bowery appears to be constricting. Can you provide additional detail on the anticipated program at ground level?
So at Bowery, can you just tell me where, or do you want me to just go through I can go through the ground level area?
Yeah, I think it's the view where it looks like there's just a tunnel cut out along Bowery.
Where we're demapping, where we're proposing the demapping. Can I show, we have a couple extra slides. I think this
Yeah.
might be helpful. Let's see. So this would be the drop-off area, if that's what you're talking about. Everywhere else would be lined with retail and food and beverage. So you're either talking about an entrance to the facility or local vendor, food and beverage, or retail, existing vendors coming back, or new retail and food and beverage.
Okay. Thank you. And have you evaluated an alternative where Bowery remains as a shared street or covered arcade?
So I think what you saw, even in that scenario where it was a covered arcade, it would still be required to be, I mean, it does look like a covered arcade, actually. It would still be required to be demapped because you can't build over a mapped street. But that's essentially how it operates.
And on public spaces, how will the public and semi-private spaces be delineated? And will the applicant team be implementing additional policing or monitoring of these spaces? What assurances can be made that the proposed spaces will be accessible to the public as opposed to just casino patrons?
I'm just going to ask Sarah to come up.
So first, to answer your question about delineating the public and private spaces, many of the spaces are public throughout the facility, certainly at street level in the food and beverage, as well as the retail offerings. Those along Surf, along Stillwell, along 15th and 12th Street have entrance opportunities to access all of those program spaces. So there are a lot of public spaces at the street level. Once you enter the yellow tube that we saw, for instance, that's also public, that gets you up from Stillwell, as it's currently designed, up to a midpoint within the podium, that offers food and beverage open for family use. It has completely independent of the gaming facility, all the way up to the rooftop, which is also open. So those are kind of delineated to make sure that they're clear and open for public access. Other examples, for instance, the hotel, if you are a guest at the hotel, or you're a guest at a convention, for instance, and someone can rent the space for the convention, those are also open opportunities for community use or guest use that are independent of the gaming facility. Similarly, if there's a very large entertainment venue at the top, it could be very appropriate for a concert venue, other more convention spaces that would be appropriate for use by those that may be visiting those types of venues. And then, of course, for making sure that they're being monitored for all of those new spaces. I think that was their second portion, that we'd absolutely be in support of introducing new checkpoints and security to make sure that there is the clear delineation between the gaming facility and those open spaces for public use, as well as between hotel and convention uses.
Thank you. And for the rooftop open space, there appears to be a number of concessions, attractions, and amusement uses.
I'm so sorry, I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you please hold your comments? For the rooftop open space, there appear to be a number of concessions, attractions, and amusement uses included. Can you provide an estimate of how much money you would anticipate generating from these uses that would only be made available through a demapping?
So there's no estimate. This is because those renderings of the open space are just illustrative. There are no plans to have concessions or any rides up there. Those are light shows and art elements. There are no actual rides up there. So there is nothing to pay for, but it is the perfect space for light elements and art for that area.
Okay. All right, just two more questions around resiliency. Is this a good location for a casino given the risk of sea level rise?
So we're really looking at.
Please hold your comments. Thank you so much.
We're really looking at opportunities for enhancements for resiliency, making sure that we're addressing these concerns by, as what our exercise is right now, by demapping Stillwell in order to raise the street bed, and then further raising the entrances as often as we can along Stillwell. Much of the project is above the design flood elevation, meaning it's getting above your day-to-day flooding as well as the extreme events. In the areas where we want to make sure that we're maintaining street activation, we are making sure that along Surf, we're maintaining that street presence that's existing currently, and then allowing for deployable flood mitigation in the event that it's needed, so that we have opportunities to make sure that we're maintaining that street presence as well as allowing for resiliency.
Okay, thank you. And last question, will the applicant team be preparing and implementing an evacuation plan in the event of a natural disaster?
Yes, we have been studying that plan along all the iterations of the design process to make sure that's front and foremost in our design and a safe strategy is in place.
Okay. Thank you. The panel is now excused.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time.
We will now call for testimony on this application from members of the public in attendance tonight. Please note that all comments are limited to 2 minutes. To ensure we can hear from all of you and you can hear from all your neighbors, please limit it to, we'll keep it limited to 2 minutes. And speakers, as they are called, can stand to the side behind the podium. And the first speaker will be Stefan Dima, followed by Ann Valdez.
Brooklyn Borough President. My name is Stephen Dima, born and raised in Brooklyn and still here. I come to you today as someone who cherishes the complex and organic vitality of our city. I come to you as someone who believes, as you surely must, that cities live or die by the diversity and energy of their streets, by the people who shape them, with their labor and their culture and their care. And today I come to you with the urgent concern mirroring many others. This casino project threatens to unravel the very social fabric that makes this historic place a living, breathing community rather than a sterile playground for the imagined wealthy. Coney Island is no stranger to spectacle or profit-driven reinvention, but its spirit, its magic has never depended on exclusionary luxury or predatory industries. Rather, it has always been a place of democratic joy, a space where working-class families, immigrants, and everyday New Yorkers could find escape, wonder, and leisure, a true urban commons and open to all. Introducing a casino into this delicate ecosystem is not only short-sighted, but an act of cultural vandalism. Time and again, as we all know, cities that embrace casinos face increased economic disparity, small business closures, rising crime, and a siphoning of wealth out of neighborhoods rather than into them. In Coney Island, a place that has long been a bastion of artistic expression and community resilience, such a project is an outright affront. Coney Island needs your support in blocking this project and instead pushing for investment that truly serves the people, affordable housing, cultural spaces, and infrastructure that strengthens rather than drains. A city's strength lies in its people, not in the speculative profits of a corporate gambling experience. Coney Island deserves better, Brooklyn deserves better, New York City deserves better, and we call on you to help us protect the spirit of this irreplaceable place before it's too late. I urge you to use your power to defend one of New York's last great public realms from the encroachment of an industry that will only take and never give back. God bless Coney Island and God bless Brooklyn.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you so much. We ask that you show your support with your hands and with your signs instead of with your voices so we can continue to hear everyone. Thank you so much.
The next speaker will be Ann Valdez, followed by Adam Rim.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Valdez. I'm born and raised in Coney Island. I'm a third generation in Coney Island, and out of the 100 years that they spoke about, I've been on this earth almost 60 of them. In all this time, while I was watching the show here, to me, that's all it was just a show. Okay, all you saw was a bunch of lights and all this fantasizing, beautiful sights, and that's not fitting in Coney Island. That's not fitting literally, nor is it fitting in there figuratively. All right, this is not Coney Island. Coney Island, as my friend just said right before me, is the individuals, the families, the mom and pop businesses, the actual entertainment for everyone. We're not going backwards into peep shows unless we give it to Adam. Adam could do peep shows. He could do the peep shows. All right. But other than that, no, seriously, this is a community that is a bunch of families. No casino should be anywhere this close to families. We are a tiny community. We pretty much know each other. And if we don't know each other, it's because due to the fact of so many more people coming from other neighborhoods because they love our neighborhood, we have a lot of newcomers, but that's fine. Coney Island is a community that welcomes new people, welcomes people who don't look like each other. We are people, not robots. We are people who struggle to take care of our families, not sit here throwing money around like it comes off of a tree. Okay, this is not Coney Island. Please, I beg of the borough president and everyone else involved, please do not allow this to go through. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker will be Adam Rin, followed by Johanna Grease.
Greetings, I'm Adam Rin, Artistic Director of Coney Island, USA. For over 40 years, Coney Island, USA has been the neighborhood's most unique and longest operating arts organization. Our mission is to preserve the history and the arts of Coney Island. Over the past few months, our organization, along with a group of dedicated residents and business owners, have led a grassroots movement against this casino. Unlike the casino's army of lobbyists who were paid handsomely to promote this den of vice with a seemingly endless budget for promotional shirts, tote bags, gift cards, and cash to coerce people to attend community board meetings, and yes, even this public hearing, as well as the expense of hiring tour buses to get them to the meetings, we are the voice of the people. The people that truly care about this place that we reside in, that we work in, that we play in. Now, I'm going to address some of the things that were discussed here specific to the demapping. Raising the height of the street will only cause runoff to flood our landmark building, which is just north of the casino on the south side of Surf Avenue. By the way, we have never seen a study on how this construction will affect the structural integrity of our 107-year-old building. We will also see idling trucks on 12th Street trying to get into their loading dock. Demapping Stillwell to make it a commercial space will just lure people into the casino. Of course, blocking off Stillwell will just create more traffic on Surf. Talking about signage on the Belt Parkway, there's literally one street going in. Sky bridges that pay homage to the Coney Island of the past. Let me tell you a secret, there were no sky bridges 100 years ago, sorry. That said, I have had the opportunity to shake hands with and meet the borough president and the deputy borough president many times. I appeal to them both. Please reject this casino.
Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Johanna Breeze,
Thank you, Grisay.
followed by Marissa Solomon.
Hey, my name is Johanna. I actually live in Sunset Park, about 20 minutes from Coney. It is my sanctuary. During COVID, I went there and it was peaceful and beautiful. That blue that you showed is going to be ruined with all the pollution you're going to bring in, the amount of cars. And I understand some people here are saying yes to build it. They're not going to give you jobs. They're going to ruin this. They are lying to you. I actually talked to several people here, and I'm addressing you with the board, who admitted to me that they were paid to be here and also that they wanted to gamble. You're preying on people with gambling addictions. I don't know if you heard recently the poor woman who was set on fire by that gentleman who was intoxicated. You're going to get way more intoxicated people out here. You're going to get people who are making it dangerous to be at Coney Island at night. You're going to have this around children. I'm an educator. I don't like that. That's not cool. And again, pollution. So I don't even understand why this is being considered. I think it's disgusting. You allow them to speak for over an hour and then you limit us to 3 minutes, and we live here. We live in this city. It's infuriating and frustrating, and there's no good that will come from this. I get it. I'm poor too. I want more money too. I get it. But it's not the answer. This casino is a disaster, and it's going to ruin a landmark that brought the #1 Oscar movie, actually was filmed over in Coney Island. You think that's going to happen again if it's ruined by this casino? Please, guys, I'm with you. I understand that you need money because I do too, but it's not the way. Please don't ruin Coney Island. Please find somewhere else. For the love of God, please. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker is Marissa Solomon, followed by Angela Reynoso. Angela, sorry if I mispronounced names also, by the way. Angela, last name R-A-N-E? No? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Borough President Reynoso must deny the application to demap the streets in Coney Island. To hand over the public streets in Coney Island in order to allow this billionaire, Joe Sitt, to replace the Coney Island amusement area with a casino would completely destroy over 150 years of history and character of Coney Island, taking away the people's playground from all New Yorkers and turning it into a playground for billionaires. I live directly across the street from the casino site in Luna Park Houses, one of the largest affordable Mitchell-Lama housing developments in New York with over 6,000 residents, which have provided safe, affordable housing to working New Yorkers for generations. But the proposed casino in Coney Island poses a major and direct threat to our ability to even be able to continue living in our homes. It will bring a tremendous increase in traffic, increased pollution, and will prevent ambulances and other emergency vehicles from reaching our buildings, endangering our lives. It will bring an increase in crime right to our front doors, with large, rowdy, and noisy crowds spilling out from the massive 24-hour-a-day casino complex and into the streets around our buildings. The casino will threaten and undermine the very viability of our housing development, which is one of the most successful developments in the city, providing affordable housing to city's residents. At a time when the city and state governments have made it a priority to preserve and build more affordable housing, it makes no sense whatsoever to put at risk and jeopardize affordable income housing developments in Coney Island for the empty promises from this billionaire Joe Sitt, who has a long record of not keeping his promises, as evidenced by his many loan defaults, lawsuits, and foreclosures. Approving this application would take away everything from one group of working class people to supposedly give a handful of benefits to another group of working class people, all to ultimately really benefit the billionaire developer Joe Sitt, who already has everything. This is a bad deal from just the standpoint of making a deal, but it's also just another version of the trickle-down economics that Republican politicians have been trying to sell working people for decades, and one that a progressive Democratic politician like Borough President Reynoso should not be making.
Thank you so much for your comments.
The next speaker is Angela Raniero, followed by Madison, last name S-P-E-R. Is that anyone? Okay. You can go ahead.
Hey, I'm Angela Ranieri. I'm just a big fan of Coney Island. I live in Brooklyn, Flatbush, and I'm a small business owner in the city. Coney Island has always been my safe space when I first moved here. And I just love it. And I know that a casino would do terrible things. Casinos don't do any good. Atlantic City sucks the second you get away from the boardwalk. Vegas is awful. Look at Queens by where that casino is built. It's awful. Nothing good. We deserve something better. I would love to see more small businesses, but Thor Equity owns the buildings that aren't letting small businesses operate because you are pricing everybody out. You are the enemy and you're trying to be our savior, and you can't be both. I'm Angela Ranieri.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker will be Madison Spencer or Radisson, followed by Maxime Ibador.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Maxim Ibadov. I'm a Coney Island resident, drag artist, small business owner. And as all of those things, I stand strongly in opposition to this casino because it will make everything for me as a resident and a small business owner and a creative in this area worse. However, specifically since this meeting is about demapping, I do want to talk about demapping because those are our streets, and I'm having a sense of deja vu that we just had an election where we fell for the lies of a billionaires to promise us so many good things, and we're going to give away our country to a couple of billionaires. So we already sold our country, so we're going to sold our streets to billionaires. And I'm sorry, I want to talk to you. When people were laughing when you said that this is like honoring the history and all of that, we don't believe you because you have these properties for how many years and you've done nothing, and you've allowed historic buildings in that area to decompose. So you have no respect for Coney Island history. You have no respect for the community. You haven't spoken to Coney Island, USA. You haven't spoken to people who live in Luna Park. I live in Warbus. You haven't spoken to us. So when you said that you're working with the community, I don't know who are the people that you're talking about. So please, dear Brooklyn Borough President, do not give away our streets. Do not take away Coney Island, because this will only also endanger all the arts and culture that are happening in this area, and Coney Island is the center of New York culture. This will endanger Brighton Beach Pride, like I am the main organizer of, and it will endanger the Neptune Parade, which is the country's oldest art parade. So I see no benefits to this, and I see no benefits to giving away our public streets to the billionaires. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And once again, I'm going to ask that you show your support with your hands and with your signs, just so we can ensure we can hear all of you.
The next speaker is Gianni Hernandez, followed by Jean Petrak Duban.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Hernandez, speaking as a resident of Coney Island. The claim that the casino will provide flood protection to the community has no basis in reality. The only thing that may be protected is their buildings. In fact, this project may increase storm surge flooding on adjacent streets. They claim that the boardwalk acts as a natural flood barrier. This is not true. The storm surge from Hurricane Sandy came right over it. They claim that the proposed project will alleviate a portion of the ongoing and constant flooding damage to the Coney Island neighborhood as a result of rising sea levels due to climate change. This statement is not true and is based on absolutely nothing. They did not do any studies on the impacts of the storm surge hitting this massive structure and whether it would make flood damage worse on nearby streets. Therefore, I say no to the demapping of our streets. Those streets belong to the people of Coney Island, not for billionaires. Las calles de Coney Island son para el pueblo, no para los ricos. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker is Jean Petrick Dubon, followed by Erica Turner.
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. Hi, I just wanted to read some stuff that I had my thoughts trying to lay it out in a linear way. Major construction is, I don't care. I mean, the people, all right. We're just.
I'm trying my best.
I got it. So especially for wheelchair users, I mean, I know it's going to affect everyone, but major construction is a nightmare. Like, not only is it, going, but something as major as this is going to require tearing up the streets, laying down new pipes and plumbing. And yeah, it's annoying for, your average person. But if you're in a wheelchair, it's a nightmare. Routes that that you're familiar with, that you're comfortable with, that are safe, that are not broken up sidewalks and shitty asphalt are going to change drastically. You have to go all the way out of your way to go to a bodega, a pharmacy, the train station, basic necessities, Other points I wanted to make is, you don't need to look at Google to realize that billionaires don't have our best interests in mind. But if you look up Joseph Sitt, who is the founder and chairman of Thor Equities, the Google says he's not technically considered a billionaire, but is, quote, very successful real estate investor with a large portfolio worth billions of dollars, making him extremely wealthy, which is like a nice way of saying, billionaire. Thor Equities is worth 20 billion. And if you Google Thor Equities, it literally says Thor Equities' goal is to identify and maximize the holdings and the value of its holdings and generate strong returns for their investors. That's what they care about, not bringing jobs to the people and the community. They don't give a shit about the community or the culture. It's all about money and turning a dollar for themselves. What else? They care about profit. They lost 2 buildings in Manhattan to foreclosure this summer, and that just goes to show that what they promise does not happen necessarily. All right. So yeah. And then re-rating, elevating Stillwell Avenue, Surf Avenue is going to be an extreme nightmare for wheelchair users. Not only with all the crazy construction that's going to have to happen, but increasing inclines. One of the reasons I love this neighborhood so much is it's flat and wheelchair friendly. This is going to detract from that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments.
The next speaker is Erica Turner, followed by Jesse Krebs.
Hello, everyone. I strongly oppose the demapping of our community street to make way for the developers and their political lapdogs to put the phony casino into our community, a beachfront community who serves thousands of people every year round. According to East Boston Community Forum, they heard the same thing from the billionaires. And what happened with that? They believed them, they let them come in, and the only thing they received was prostitution, increase in traffic, more drunk driving, calls to 911 quadrupled, many restaurants closed, and pawn shops started to pop up everywhere. The casino offered wages to these people for dead-end jobs, but then they begin to lay off the people and add more slot machines. Why? Because the casino said they don't take the day off. Just to be clear, I was not paid to be here like many people were. I am here because I love my family, I love my community, and I say no to corruption, and I say no to this casino. And know why? Because they're not like us. You know what they use? A-minors. And just looking at the pictures that you showed over West 12th Street, there are schools there. You want to bring big buses down that block where there's an elementary school and a daycare center? Does that make sense? You need to go back to your drawing board or find another community and put that casino there. We don't want it, we don't need it, and we do not have to have it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments.
The next speaker will be Jesse Krebs, followed by Elijah K. Karen.
I can't help but notice that you changed your language from casino to gaming facility because even you know how bad casinos are. Call it what it is, you cowards. It is a casino. And you know what? If you really cared about the community, you would be investing in current structures in the community, not building over top, not suffocating it. With demapping, local family-owned businesses are threatened. The nonprofit arts organization, Coney Island USA, that I work for, is threatened. Where there are casinos, there are rises in suicide, domestic violence, and addiction, gambling or otherwise, rates. This is how you destroy a community. So I gotta ask, do you want a casino or do you want a community? Because I want a community. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Elijah K. Karen, followed by Samuel Cooper.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elijah. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, and I'm proud to call South Brooklyn my home. We've heard a lot of talk this evening about the merits of a casino in this community. But I think it's also important to talk about who would be developing said casino. For 20 years, CEO Joe Sitt and Thor Equities have owned substantial property in Coney Island's amusement district. Talk is cheap. They've had 20 years to show us what they think of our community. In that 20 years, they have spent those 20 years forcing out small business tenants and turning their land holdings into trash-filled, rat-infested lots just for the sake of speculative profits for themselves. They claim that their casino will sit on, most of it is undeveloped property. What they don't mention is that it's undeveloped because they bought it, let the historic buildings crumble to dust, and then forced out the small business tenants so they could say, oh, now it's undeveloped. We were just going to make it nice. Meanwhile, we have been asking for it to be made better instead of just filling up with their trash heaps for 20 years. They claim they care about this community. They didn't even bother to shovel and salt the sidewalks outside their properties this winter. You care about your community? You can't pay somebody $100 to make sure no one slips on the ice and kills themselves? Right? This is what they think of us, of our community, our city, and our streets. And now they are saying that they want to take those streets and own them for themselves. They have no business owning our streets. The Thor Equities playbook has always been the same. Trample on small business and spit on the community as long as it can turn a profit for them. They have spent 20 years doing this. Thor Equities may come here with billions of dollars, false promises, and an army of paid so-called interested members of the public, but they have spent 20 years, like I said, talk is cheap. 20 years of action speaks volumes about what they are actually going to do to this community. We come here on behalf of the community saying that Thor Equities and this casino has no business in our community or owning our streets. Thank you for my time.
Thank you so much for your comments.
The next speaker is Samuel Cooper, followed by Marie Mirvel Shahzada.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not from Coney Island. I'm from the other side, Marlborough houses. And I've been around casinos and I'm listening to all that everybody said about casinos. As long as I've been on this planet and visit casinos, they work. Casinos work because we have seniors that got to get out after 60, 70, they want a casino to go to. If I want a casino, I have to go to Pennsylvania or Atlantic City. That's what I'm saying. Or Queens, or Queens. I'm here and I'm listening to everybody about casinos. And nobody in the area came up with anything positive, nothing at all about casinos. Casinos are not bad. They're all around the world. They in every community you want to put them in. And I'm saying, I'm wishing and hoping. I got friends in Coney Island, and I'm hoping that this go through. If it does, I'm happy. If it does not, hey, I'm still happy. All right? Okay.
Thank you for your comments.
And that's all I can say for now. And I love you people, but give it a chance. So you got to give it a chance. Because give love a chance, give casinos a chance, and see what happens. If it's not, if they put it up, we could take it down. That's all. Okay? So
Excuse me, I
I
can't
gotta
hear
say
his
good night
comments.
to the crowd and hope everybody get home safe. And I'm a military person. All right? I've lived in Marlborough houses for over 50 years. So I'm looking for changes. If there's any change coming up, I want to embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Marie Mirvel Shahzada, followed by Paula Busno.
Hi, my name is Marie Merville Shahzada. I'm an executive director of El Fadila Community Services. I'm a business owner out in Coney Island. My husband's owned a business there for the last about almost 30 years. I'm 100% in favor of the Coney Casino and Resort Development. Coney Island, especially from Stillwell to West 36, and I'm talking about Stillwell from West 36, is a diverse, vibrant community, but it is lacking in resources, it's lacking in investment, it's lacking in opportunities, it's lacking in good jobs. All of you who, Coney Island, USA, yay, Dino Park, yay, Luna Park, yay, but you are not the only ones in Coney Island. I'm talking about the people from Stillwell to West 36.
Excuse me, I'm not
They're
able to
hurting.
hear.
They're hurting. At my nonprofit, I have tons of people asking me for jobs, and I send them to city jobs. I send them to hiring halls. There are people asking for food for their children. We do pop-up pantries, and the line is around the block. The Coney Casino Development, their team has come out and listened to the people, the residents of Coney Island, and they've worked with us. You see their initiatives. They've come out and said, okay, they need jobs, they need this, they need that, and they've worked with it. Me, myself, have gone from resident to resident to resident, and a lot of them are in favor of the casino, the resort. However, they are scared. Me, myself, has been bullied by people here, by people there. The community board has put me on social media. I was giving out candy. People came up to me, harassing me with my 2 children giving out candy. I have people going to my stores, telling their children to rob my stores, which I have on video camera, and I will get an order of protection on them and their children. That's why people are afraid to come here. A lot of residents in Coney Island want this. Thank you. Well,
Thank you for your comments.
thank you very much.
Again, please hold your comments. We are not able to hear. Excuse me. We're not able to hear everyone's comments. Yeah. Please. Please.
The next speaker is Paula Busno, followed by Amger Alvarado.
Hi. I didn't come super prepared. I heard about all of this recently.
Can you please speak closer to the microphone?
Excuse me.
Thank you.
I just think that this is a really stupid idea, and I think in your heart of hearts, you have to think that too, beyond like your profits and your bottom line and whatever. I'm actually surprised at the amount of community members that came out in support of this. I'm sure you're being handsomely incentivized by maybe tote bags or but I truly believe you guys are being sold a dream, and I think that this will actually cause a lot more harm to your community than you think. Coney Island is a place for families and joy. It's a place that I've gone to my entire life. I've been, raised in and around the area. And I just think that I heard a lot of the conversations and they were about jobs being created close to their homes, and you might have a job at the end of all of this, but I'm not sure if you'll have a home, honestly. But yeah, I think this will be another failed development, and just like the amphitheater and that mall they're building by the ferry in Staten Island, like, you guys have to know this is going to be a failure. Just look at the other examples. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker is Angel Alvarado, followed by Anthony Batiste.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Angel Alvarado, and I live in Seagate, Coney Island. And I've been coming to Coney Island for many, many years. I started here in 1957. I'm 73 years old. And I believe that a lot of things have changed here. A lot of things have changed in all the time that I've seen and come here. But I love Coney Island. And whether or not we're against it or we're in favor of the casino, I believe that 90% of the people here go to casinos when you come out of here. Yes.
Please,
When you
please hold
come out
your
of here.
responses. We're unable to hear him.
But whether or not you're telling yourself that you don't, please, I know better. And I believe that if it comes through, I'm going to love it, because there are people who say, oh, we don't want it in our community, but you want it in everybody else's community. And that's where you go. You all go over there, but you don't want to have it in your backyard. Ain't nothing's going to happen, because I have never heard anybody being killed or really things going bad that way. You just go and have fun and entertain yourself, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Hold on. Excuse me, I'm going to ask again that we please hold all comments so that we can appropriately hear everyone who is taking the time and energy to come here and speak about their opinions. So please call the next.
The next speaker is Anthony Batiste, followed by Jake Turner, I believe.
Right, hello. Good evening, everybody. As you know, you guys know me, Anthony Batista. I'm community leader. All right. I'm a community leader. I'm the executive director for the Coney Island Anti-Violence Collaborative. And listen, we're gonna respect me because you guys know me better than that. Give me my respect, Orlando. We're gonna respect me, and I want my time. Thank you. I want my time. Thank you. We're gonna respect me. We could talk all that, but we all know I live on West 19, people. So give me my respect. All right, there we go. So, as you know, I've always been a person that said I don't go into casinos, I don't gamble. I say the same speech everywhere I go, but I'm not thinking about myself. Everyone here, like the gentleman that just said, most people go to casinos. I don't. You don't want it in Coney Island, that's fine. I understand that. In the beginning, I said it too. Do I want it? I don't like casinos, period. But if we look, the median income for Coney Island is what? 44,000. The poverty rate in Coney Island is 25% compared to 18%. Hold on, don't clap. Please don't clap. Let me speak. 18% compared to the 18% across the city. Now, this meeting is about the mapping. I say the mapping because at the end of the day, like the lady said, she said it. She can build the casino no matter what. So if you don't demap it, they're not going to fix the streets. They're not going to fix the sidewalk. They don't have to do those things. They don't have to. Let's think about that. So you want your streets fixed or you don't want the streets fixed? So in addition to that, my friend over here, he said about not the casino people not speaking to you guys. But let's take into consideration this. Do you speak to people that are irate and screaming at you and want to be in your face? You don't want to deal with people like that. If you try to, give me a minute because they keep cutting me off. If you give them an opportunity, just speak to them. They listen. Because there's a couple of things that I did propose to them. They listened and they put it into action. So give them an opportunity and see what happens.
Thank you for your comments.
All right. The next speaker
What do you
is,
know? Somebody left their sign up here. Huh, what do you
the
know?
next speaker is Jake
Didn't even have
Turner,
to.
followed by Renee Geary.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to sound the alarm about the casino that Thor Equities wants to build in the heart of Coney Island. Let's be clear, this isn't about progress, it's about profit. Thor Equities sees Coney Island as nothing more than a cash cow that they want to strip away everything that makes this place unique for their own gain. Coney Island isn't just land, it's Ruby's Bar and Grill, a local treasure that's been serving the community for decades. It's Williams Candy, where homemade sweets fill the air and nostalgia of that place hits you in the gut. This place is full of history, charm, and life. Thor Equities doesn't care about any of that. They see dollar signs and they're willing to bulldoze our heritage to make a quick buck. The casino isn't going to bring prosperity. It's going to bring crime, addiction, and chaos. It will disrupt everything that makes Coney Island special. The small businesses, the community, the families that make that place a home. Ruby's, Williams, and other local gems will be replaced with neon lights and corporate greed. This casino will bring nothing but noise, traffic jams, pollution, drowning out the history that made Coney Island legendary. Thor Equities doesn't care about our families, our children, who need safe, vibrant spaces. They don't care about the small businesses struggling to survive. They only care about the profit margins. We are simply line items in a book. We are not going to let them turn Coney Island into a wasteland of casinos and corporate greed. Enough is enough. This is a time to make a stand against the billionaires who want to control us. This is in your hands, Borough President. Please make the correct decision and understand that Coney Island is not for sale. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker is Renee Geary, followed by Janine Ramirez.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Renee Gary. I've been out here for 69 years. I've seen it when it was beautiful, and I see it why it's ugly now. People who live out there in Coney Island tore it down on their own. So therefore, why not get it built up? We need it built up. You understand? Because we ain't got nothing out there as it is. It's nothing out there. All the stores is closed up from Sandy. And people went out there when we had Sandy and tore up their own neighborhood. So how can y'all complain about some damn casino? How dare you? You understand? So yes, I'd agree. Build up that casino. And as far as the children in the school, how about these mermaids walking around here naked? Okay? Stop that nonsense. It's a lot of things that have been going on, and I've been watching. And I'm going on 70 years old. Okay? So, I thank y'all. Build up that casino.
Thank you for your comments. Please hold your comments so that we can hear all speakers. Excuse me, please hold your comments so that we can hear everybody. We're not able to hear everyone's comments.
The next speaker is Sheila Smalls, followed by Anna Duratz.
Good evening, everyone. I have a testimony. My testimony is in. I am in favor of the demapping so that this way that cars will be able to come into the area for the casino. And I am for it 100%. But first of all, let me just tell y'all something. I've been out in Coney Island a whole 65 years, and I've helped each and every one of you in any way that I can. Okay, I am a community leader. I'm also a leader in my development. And a lot of my residents do not want the casino. And I ask them why. And they really can't comprehend or say why. I'm a person that is, I look at it on a glass, you can see it half empty or half full. You understand? And I am a recipient of a community agreement for the Downtown Brooklyn Community Association and have been receiving tickets to all the shows, to the Barclay, giving them out to everyone who ever wanted in my neighborhood, and if you have a partner that's really going to work with you, every developer is not the worst one. Okay, you got to hold people accountable. If you don't hold people accountable, then they're not going to do anything for you. Like our baseball field that came and promised everything that they was going to give to Coney Island and ain't giving us nothing. Okay, like the people that came out there and said, oh no, we don't want a shelter out here. We don't want them people out here. They built the shelter anyway. Okay, those people are not bothering anybody. The shelter's beautiful and not bothering anyone. And what upsets me the most is that y'all have the gall, audacity to try to bully somebody. I'm a bully. You understand? I'm a bully. Don't step to me. Do not step to me about what you think. We all have our own opinions. You understand? That doesn't make me love you any less because you don't agree with what I'm saying. Okay, I'm also a member of Local 69 and train construction workers with work. When it's time to work, we get them jobs. I work. You understand? So don't sit there and say, oh, Coney Island don't need this. I work on the West End. Be respectful, young man.
Thank you so much for your comments.
Be respectful. Be respectful. Okay? You're the problem.
Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much.
Should I have my 2 minutes? Because he took it.
No, it's already over. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comments.
Finish. I need to say this. Whether you agree or you don't agree, respect one another. Okay? Because you got to walk the streets at all times. And trust me, I do.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think we need to have a little room reset. Thank you all so much for your participation and for being here. But we really do need to be able to hear everyone who is speaking. It is a lot of time and dedication that you all are giving to this. And we need to be able to hear everybody and have everyone, thank you so much. And everybody needs to be able to hear each other. So thank you so much. But we're going to have to take a second.
Okay, everybody please settle down. I know that this is a very emotional evening for all of you, either pro or against, but we have to respect each other and listen to each other. All right. I'm sorry, it's going to get to the point where if we can't have civilized conversations and listen to each other, you will be removed. Because this is an important process that needs to take place. We need to be able to hear each other because it is a legal process that we have to deal with. And if we can't hear because your emotions are running so high, what did the borough president say? Give space and grace to each other. And that means allowing people to speak. And do not make comments, snide comments, laugh, whatever. Hold it. Okay, that's what the borough president asked for. We are better than this. Thank you, okay?
The next speaker is Anna Dorati, followed by Julia Daniele.
I actually hate my first name, and that was a hard act to follow. I'm actually known as Daisy. I have lived here since 1977. Brief history lesson. Topless is allowed on public beaches from Queens down to Seagate, period. As far as express trains go, we haven't had an express train until just recently when the B was brought back, and that's only during weekdays. The ferry, don't get me started. We waited 14 years for a ferry. First, the pier was too tall. Then, oh God, we're going to put it by Kaiser Park, which is too far away with only one bus to connect to the ferry, the B36. You still have to walk across the park to get to the dock. And that ferry does not honor transfers, by the way. So you're already paying an extra fare, period. As far as blocking off Stillwell Avenue, you would disrupt the B36, the B68, the B64, and the B82. They would all have to be rerouted, thereby disrupting the B1, the B4, the B6, the B49, and I said the B3, and all the interconnecting buses would also have to be rerouted. As far as Sandy goes, yeah, we got hit hard. That flood went all the way up to Kings Highway and across over to Avenue U and down to Bay Parkway. So in either direction, if you weren't walking, you weren't getting anywhere because trains were disrupted, the buses were disrupted. So flood protection? Where? You're going to build the wall all the way past Kings Highway? You're going to build it past Bay Parkway? Oh, and let's not talk about traffic, especially foot traffic, especially on Mermaid Parade Day, where we're now walking single file on the boardwalk because we got peddlers to the left of us, peddlers to the right of us, peddlers behind us, and peddlers ahead of us, when we used to have the whole boardwalk. You can't have a casino unless you address quality of life. Art Walls has become nothing more than a place to nutcrackers and marijuana and this, that, the third, and hats being sold and everything under the sun, all kinds of trinkets illegally, e-bikes, e-scooters, plowing into people on the boardwalk, on the side streets. Now you got,
Thank you so much for your comments.
Yes, they're selling actual barbecue out of shopping carts.
Thank you.
On Surf Ave. You can't have it all. You got to pick one or the other. Save Coney Island, USA.
Thank you so much.
Keep the mermaid.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Julia Daniele, followed by Shirlane Davis.
Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Julia Danley. I'm a Coney Island resident for over 60 years. Let's say the West End, it's a dead zone. We need the jobs. I don't care what anybody says. We need the jobs. They're badly needed, badly needed. We're talking about streets. I've been in a wheelchair for 1.5 years, and the streets are bumpy now. So just because all the issues that you're saying are already there, they have nothing to do with the casino. The streets that are being demapped have minimal activities going on. You're worried about the Mermaid Parade. The Mermaid Parade is still going to happen. What's the big deal? This is going to be community binding agreement. We make it legal and binding. I don't know what type of people you're dealing with, but if we sit down at the table, yeah, that's going to be legal and binding because we're going to get a lawyer. It doesn't have to be their lawyer. There's a lot of other things that you just sit down and ask them. Maybe there's something that could be worked out. Historical buildings, if you're renting it, you should be taking care of the building as well, not just the landlord. And it's his property. It's his property. I'll be damned if it was my property, you told me what to do with it. Something is going to come, but let's make it beneficial for all of us because Coney Island doesn't just belong to you. It belongs to me and my children and my grandchildren too. Okay, my neighbor next door. And there's a lot of more people for the casino than what you think. They're just tired of being bullied because we go through bullying every day, all the time.
Please hold your responses.
Either through social media, either in person, either the snide looks. And it's not fair because the same way we let you speak and say your piece, this always happens. This is the first time, I must say, that we've been able to say some stuff and be heard because anywhere we go, they never let us say what we feel. Coney Island belongs to me too. I love Coney Island. Coney Island belongs to me too. I live in the heart of the jungle, right on West 23rd Street. Okay, I don't own a little house with a picket fence. And a lot of the men and women that I speak to, they look for jobs. They look for jobs. And having a job close to home makes it all the much better to be able to be there for your children after school, before school. Anyway, and you speak to the Coney, they're going to provide the training. Whatever stuff is needed, they're going to provide the certifications that are needed, the schoolings that are needed. They are going to, and I'm going to make sure as a community leader, I don't know what kind of community leaders you guys are, but if you guys come, I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to make sure that whatever you promised us is going to come to life because we've been jerked so much. We've been shortchanged before this. We had plenty of sellouts. What are you mad? Because we held out for the highest bidder? Shit, our community deserves the highest. So let's keep it 100. Respect me the way I respect you, because I could get real hood too, cane or not, chair. It just doesn't matter. We all live there. Coney Island is just not yours. I'm there too.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker is Shirlane Davis, followed by Lucy Mujica Diaz.
Sorry, we need to listen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Charlene Davis, and as you can see, I'm also in a wheelchair. I lived in Coney Island for over 45 years. My concerns with everything that they're saying about bringing this casino is the promises that they're making. They're saying that they're going to give us jobs. Is it just talk or is it reality? Who holds them accountable when we don't get these jobs? Is there something in writing that says this is what they're going to do? Everything that they're promising us and that they're showing us on these maps and stuff, are you putting these things in writing? Who's watching the watcher? Who's watching the overseer? When it comes to evacuation, with being in a wheelchair, it's not easy to evacuate. I live right on Bayview and 33rd. So many people died when Sandy happened. We have to think about Coney Island, and Coney Island is a peninsula. It is not easy to get off of. It's not that many ways in and out. We're so tired of people coming in and saying what they're going to give us. What happened to when you come off the subway, right across the street, they did a mural. It's beautiful. But the building that's right there when you get off is an eyesore. And he owns that. If you can build this casino without doing the demapping, then why not do so? Why go through all of this? We have said to them time and time again, there's other things that we need in the community as well. Are you willing to help us with that? When they talk about this $250 million that they're supposed to be putting in the pot that's supposed to help the community, who's overseeing where that money goes to and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's got to be a system of checks and balances. And if not, then we don't need it.
Thank you so much for your comments.
The next speaker is Lucy Mujica Diaz, followed by Melba. I believe the last name starts with an S-I, Singer, maybe? Go ahead.
Community binding agreements cannot be binding because the funding is never guaranteed that it will keep coming in. $200 million that is going to be, it is going to be a one-shot deal. It is a dime in the bucket for them for the billions that they're going to make off of us. The casino will bring over 23,000 people on weekdays and over 35,000 people on weekends, which will which will add congesting to us. What is now a seasonal danger to the residents of the West Side will become a year-round danger, with emergency vehicles unable to get past to the location of the proposed casino. They looked at 45 intersections in the area leading to the casino. They admitted at these 45 intersection traffics is 67 lanes grouped in already at unacceptable levels if the casino is built. That figure will almost double at 123 lane groups. That is unacceptable. By their own admission, traffic will peak during school dismissals. Despite building a 1,500 car garage, this proposal will take every area of parking in the space and cannot be guaranteed that it's only for the casino patrons. They assure that the garage and every space and every parking lot in the area, there will still be 1,000 spaces that people will be looking for. Borough President Reynoso, it is evidence that this community is not in favor of this project, and by guaranteeing the demapping will give them more power to move forward. Please vote it down as the community has demanded. It is disgusting that they continue bringing people in and paying them to be here and speak on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
The next speaker is Melba Singer, followed by Paula Jenkins.
Hi, my name is Melba Sitjar.
Can you
I'm
speak
from
a little
Brooklyn.
closer to the microphone so we can
Oh,
hear you?
sorry.
Thank you.
My name is Melba Sitjar. I'm from Brooklyn, and I went to school in Coney Island almost 30 years ago. And the idea of having a casino built sickens me, because I've seen places like the Resorts Casino in Queens where like now my aunt's become an addict, which, you know, she goes there every week, and I can't stand seeing her like that. I work with people with mental health and addiction, and it's something I'm prideful for. I want to see people work as a community and not worry about money or anything like that. There's other things to worry about than a casino. Sorry, that's all I can say.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your comments.
The next speaker is Paula Jenkins, followed by, I believe it's Malik Mern.
Good evening. My name is Paula Jenkins. I live in Marlboro. I've moved here in 1968. I have friends and family in Coney Island. This is my first meeting. And when I was first told about the casino, I was told that homes would be taken away, people knocked out of their homes and everything. But then as I got more information, and I was told that nobody will lose their housing for this. I see, yeah, they took your home. Well, then we get them, then we'll be on your side. We'll help you get your home back. But they're saying that it's gonna generate jobs. I see Coney Island, I see Marlboro. It's declining. These people are out there idle. They're on drugs. We have crackheads coming in and out of the buildings. You know, so we need to get this taken care of. And these people promise that we will get funding and it will help. So now, I say yes to the casino. If it goes through, fine. If not, fine. But if it goes through and they do not come through with their promises, just the way we got them in, they could get out. You know, we get out. Don't go. You're not for it, don't go. But all the screaming and hollering, it's not necessary. No, it's unnecessary. And you've been to 20 meetings. You shouldn't be at this one.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next speaker, Marique Mern. Marique Mern is the next speaker. And if not, then Desia Powell. Desia Powell or Samara Powell then? Okay, Dora. So the next speaker is Stephanie Argueta. Is Stephanie here?
I don't see anything funny. I don't see anything funny. I know my ass is out today. It's hot. And this is how I would dress less on a Mermaid Parade. But you know what? I'm sick and tired of corporate fucking greed. I'm sick and tired of fucking corporate greed. I understand the whole rhetoric of it creates jobs and it creates this and it creates that. But you know you're going to get priced out. You're going to get priced out of your fucking home. The residents of Coney Island, like, it creates jobs. It creates training. Not for you. They want you to get the fuck out. It's not for you. It's for probably other people. It's not for you. I'm sick and tired of corporate greed. I'm sick and tired of Trump. I'm sick and tired of Elon. I'm sick and tired of just this billionaire bullshit, this corruption. And you have to understand a casino is not built for you. It's not built for fucking you. I'm sick and tired of this shit. But I understand the residents want it because they think it creates jobs, but you're gonna get priced out. If you're in the projects, it's gonna get privatized. If you're in like a fucked up house, it's gonna get privatized. Thor equities, what the fuck? What the fuck Thor equities mean? It means white devil shit. It means white devil shit. And they're not looking for the niggas in the neighborhood and trying to help them and create jobs and do all this shit. I'm just sick and tired. I'm so tired. I'm so mad about what happened with the boy, with the, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm tired of free speech abuse. I'm tired of First Amendment, Second Amendment getting fucked up. I really want to break this shit. I really want to break this shit. I'm sick and tired of everything. I can't take it. I don't know. I think I'll self-deport my fucking self at this point. I don't know. But I hate Trump. I hate Elon. I hate corporate greed. I love cognac. Mermaid Parade, look. Titties are allowed. Titties are allowed. Titties are allowed, everybody. It's legal in New York City.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also.
The next speaker,
Looking for him. I was looking for him.
next speaker
Thank
is
you so much.
Aurora North. Thank you.
Speaker. I don't even want to leave this podium. I think I should run for office.
The next speaker is Aurora North.
Who's Aurora? I'm Aurora. Can I get another 2 minutes? Don't kick me.
Thank you so much.
Don't kick me out.
The next speaker is Aurora North, followed by Jack Sullivan. Is Aurora here?
Thank you.
Is Jack Sullivan here?
Hi. I know this is specifically about the demapping and about upcoming road work that would happen. A thing that hasn't been addressed yet that I didn't see mentioned in the questioning is how long this is going to take. Because the proposed demapping, the construction would have to happen for the releveling and all that, would take a substantial amount of time, during which it would cut off pretty much all access to the beach, to the waterfront, to the boardwalk, and to most of the businesses that exist currently in Coney Island, including Dino's Wonderful Park, including Coney Island USA. In fact, we have the benefit of being pretty close to the train station at that point, but that construction would likely demolish our building. Beyond that point, I just want to mention, for those of you aware of the effects a casino has in a community, currently in New Jersey, in Atlantic City, that accounts for the highest suicide rate in the entire state of New Jersey, 11.3% for 100,000 people. Coney Island currently has the highest in the borough of Brooklyn. There's a tie directly between the presence of a casino and suicide rates. Now, we know the beach is right there. The construction of a casino right by the waterfront, right by that beachfront, the desperation that's already there, bringing more desperate people into the area, it will only raise these rates. It will only cause harm to the community, it will only cause harm to outside communities, and make it an island of death. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ariella Sinidalas. Ariella. After that, Robert Menez. No. Eric Matheson. And after Eric Matheson, it is Aria Dons.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Robert. I'm a Jersey boy, but New York is my second home. Coney Island is a special place, very near and dear to my heart, because I've gone there, I don't know how many summers, to go to the aquarium and go hang out on the beach and have Nathan's and check out the museum and go to Coney Island, USA, and the Mermaid Parade, which I love with every fiber of my being. I love it. I love Coney Island, USA. I love the museum. I love the weirdness. I love my beautiful oddballs out there. I'm just some weird-ass crust punk over here. What the hell do I know? The only thing that I do know is that billionaires are full of shit. They are full of shit. And I know that Thor Equities is fucking poison in this city. And they're going to poison the very heart and very soul of Coney Island. Have you ever seen the lives of all of us? That we have more hearts and soul and excitement in our little pinkies than you do in your mayo on white with a side order of lukewarm tap water lives. You want to go to get casinos? Go back to Vegas. Go back to Atlantic City. Go screw them up. I've already been around casinos and I know what they're like. They are garbage. They are good garbage. So all I'm going to say about this one is that I like the weird Coney Island. I like the beautiful Luna Park. I love all of that. That's what I go to Coney for. Get away, get a little bit of nice ocean air, get myself a Nathan's dog, or go over and go to Ruby's, or go and hang out and have a beer with, John Wick over there at the Coney Island Museum. I love that place. It's weird and colorful and beautiful, and that's what I want. And I want the Mermaid Parade. It's the best part about Coney Island. You know what Thor Equities can do with their plans? They can go stick it up their ass. That's all I got to say. Hell yeah.
Thank you so much.
And the next speaker is Aaron Matheson, followed by Ari Bredans. Gene Ross.
Hello, my name is Jean Ross. I live in Prospect Heights, and I'm an economist by profession. I'm also a four-season visitor to Coney Island, and I've got a lot to say, so I'm going to talk fast. The proposed demapping is a precondition to building a casino the way it was talked about today. It will irrevocably change the character of the Coney Island that we know and love. You're going to hear a lot, you've heard a lot tonight from a lot of people who are paid to make a lot of promises that are never going to be fulfilled. I'm here to tell you to take that with a grain of salt and to look at the research, and I wish I had time to talk about all of it. Here are the facts. Happy to provide citations to research if you would like it. Casino business model is antithetical to a vibrant communities. Casinos depend on keeping their customers inside and gambling. That's how they make their money. Everything from the architecture to the ventilation system to the addictive nature of slot machines is designed to keep customers inside the casinos, not outside where they patronize local businesses. Casinos make money because rapid bet slot machines, which is the source of about 75% of their revenues, are highly addictive. And that addiction increases the prevalence of problem gaming. It also keeps people from going outside patronizing local businesses. The concessions inside of casinos don't go to local businesses, don't go to mom and pops, go to any casino anywhere in the country, national chain franchises, not local businesses. Because of this, one data-based academic study found no evidence, zero, of a casino-related boost in local retail sales linked to casino development and a slower, not a higher, lower rate of employment growth in economies where casinos have been developed. Spread of localized gambling, Northeast region is saturated in the market. Promises aren't going to be realized. I encourage you to say no to the proposed demapping. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Robert Cornegi.
Yeah.
Followed by Avni Dejirmensi.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Everybody calm down. Let's bring down the heat. This is important. It is important to hear from all sides. If you are going to continue to interrupt this hearing, you will be removed. Everyone has a right to be heard if they signed up. I'm sorry, you have to leave.
You cannot interrupt these proceedings. That's fine. That's fine. Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm going to remind people what the borough president said 2 hours ago. This is the people's house. All of us. This is our building. And with that comes a responsibility to be respectful of each other. What comes with that is this is a process that we need to hear both sides. Whether you like it or not, that is what we are legally responsible for. And if you continue to interrupt this proceeding, you will be removed because you are preventing us from doing the people's work. Is that clear? Are we clear? No more interruptions. Thank you. This gentleman will now speak.
Thank you. I want to thank the borough president for giving everybody an opportunity to have a voice on this particular issue. I wanted to talk briefly about the demapping and resiliency along the waterways and also infrastructure improvements, as well as water and sewer and flooding mitigation, which is part of the project to work with developers and the Army Corps of Engineers and all of that to improve the quality of life from all of the flooding that happens constantly in Coney Island. So I think it's important to note that this actually will be adding to the resiliency along the waterways, which is important to watch and understand the erosion that's happening along the waterways. Oh, I forgot to say, I'm Robert Carnegie, former council member, former chair of small business, former chair of MWBE, former chair of the Democratic Conference. I think that it's incredible that people can just yell out anything while people are speaking. And I just want to say, I've been on the ground for 2 years talking to residents and small businesses in Coney Island, and it was mentioned that people feel bullied. And the fact that the room is not filled with Coney Island residents that support the project is a testament to the fact that a lot of people feel that they're in jeopardy when they come out and speak in positive on the project. And as you can see, they're shouted down, they're called horrible human beings, they're called every name in the book. So who wants to do that? Who wants to come out and support a project when they know that they're going to be berated? That's really disgusting. I was called a disgusting human being, but the behavior that we witnessed tonight and over the last few meetings is really a demonstration of what's disgusting. This project seeks to be able to improve the quality of life of individuals through infrastructure improvement and investment, flood mitigation along the waterways. I think it's important to look at that. And I'm sticking to.
Please hold your comments.
Respectfully, it was a few minutes to have somebody removed while I was waiting. So.
Please wrap up your comments.
My comments are done.
Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Avni Dejirmensi, followed by Ariella
Am I not speaking? Do I not?
Can you state your name?
R.A. Bronson Davidson.
Is that what was called?
That wasn't what was called, but.
Your name wasn't called yet. We'll call you when it's up.
Wasn't?
Thank you. So it's this one.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Avni Degramenchi, and I'm a social studies teacher at PS 238 in District 21 in Brooklyn. I do not live in the community. I live in Woodside, Queens, but I work in the community. And I was invited by District 21 just to listen to some of your concerns. I don't have an opinion for or against the casino, but I came here as an employee of the City of New York to become informed. I care very much about the people who live in Coney Island, and I truly hope that whatever outcome comes at the end of this conference benefits the people who live there. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Namira Zolfagar, followed by Dominic M. Riccia.
Hi, everybody. I'm Namra. I grew up in South Brooklyn and now live in Brighton Beach. And as someone who visited Coney Island as a child, I stand here today not only as a concerned current resident, but also as someone who has lifelong roots in the community. As others have mentioned, building this casino is going to destroy the culture, the character of Coney Island, but if the developers cared about culture and character, we wouldn't be here today. So for them and the borough president, I'm going to focus on the cold hard facts. We're disagreeing a lot on housing, economy, but we can look at other cities across the country that have built casinos to see what the impact is going to be. Housing prices will go up. Research from Brookings show that in cities like Detroit, where casinos were introduced in the early 2000s, average housing prices in the neighborhood increased by 18%. That is going to price out working families. It's going to price out our seniors in the community. Brooklyn's already becoming unaffordable. It's going to become even more so. Studies have also looked at the rise of crime associated with casinos. Areas with casinos often experience a 10 to 20% increase in crime rates, 5% in the first 2 years after the casino opens. Besides crime, there's also an increase in social disorder, especially addiction. In cities like Detroit and Atlantic City, problem gambling rates increased by 5 to 10% after the opening of the casinos. Treatment for that will then be paid for by the community. In Atlantic City, the estimated annual cost to the city's social services from gambling addiction was 15 to 20 million. That cost, again, is going to be paid by Brooklyn, not the developers. And then finally, economy. We see the signs, yes. Jobs, economy, yes. Jobs in the short term, yes, but 80% of these jobs, low wage, service-oriented, seasonal, and as people have mentioned before, they're not guaranteed. Further, the economic benefits, as people have stay within the casino. A study of casinos in Illinois showed that nearly 60% of spending by casino visitors went directly into the casino, rather than the small businesses nearby. And in some areas of Las Vegas, local spending actually decreased by 30% after the introduction of the casino, because locals in the neighborhood, tourists, decide to spend their money inside the casino instead. So, cold hard facts, let's not talk about, is it gonna happen, is it not gonna happen? If it happens, there'll be direct negative ramifications for the community.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Dominic M. Riccia, followed by Jesse Michael.
Good evening. I'm here today as a former councilman of Coney Island, where when I was first elected in 2002, made a commitment that we were going to revitalize Coney Island. And we did that. We rezoned it. We brought in new rides. We brought in jobs for the community. We brought in opportunities. Coney Island USA got their building because of the rezoning of Coney Island. And many more opportunities. Luna Park House has got $70 million to renovate Luna Park housing. There's much more to come once we build the casino. And it's not only a casino, it's an entertainment complex. There's a whole conference community. There's opportunities for jobs for the community. That over 50,000 residents who want to work, who need to be trained. We are in talks with Kingsborough and other city universities in training our community for free and to get them ready to go work in the hotel trades and to be there. We are going to give opportunities to residents who live in Coney Island, the first opportunities to apply for the jobs. Not only Yes, you have to apply. And you know what? We're going to make sure that you're properly trained for those jobs, Lucy. Okay? So you can mimic all you want, but you know what? It's all about jobs, Lucy. It's for your community. If you cared about this community, like we, the people, we want to give jobs for the residents there. I don't hear anybody else talking about jobs for the residents that live in Coney Island. That's what this is all about. Opportunities. Opportunities, and look what's going on. We didn't work with local high schools. We're going to be working with the schools. We're going to give opportunities for these people to work together. And you know what, Lucy, if you would have done your research a little bit better, it's not a community benefits agreement. It's a trust. And the trust is a legal binding document which will have everything in there. And the community will make the decisions with the community on the community local board. And that's what's going to happen.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Jesse Michael, followed by Edith White.
It's ironic that Thor Equities, currently battling foreclosure lawsuits by investors for defaulting on loans, is hedging a personal bet to save their firm by stealing from the pocketbooks of New Yorkers. In recessionary times, casinos subtract from the economy, the cost being paid for by draining taxpayers and municipal entities. There are many more coherent and less destructive ways to stimulate state finances than this short-term parlay that will sabotage sustainable generational wealth in the Coney Island district. Official studies by the Rockefeller Institute and other leading think tanks describe long-term harms of casinos, determining that they cause workflow reduction in other local industries, massive traffic issues that can prove deadly, blocked ambulances by the ocean, and drunk drivers in the Belt Parkway, not to mention thousands of vehicles choking on already congested flood zones. Less spending in local restaurants, bars, and businesses, you heard about that, are associated with increases in bankruptcy, sex trafficking, liver cirrhosis, suicide, and gambling addiction, metastasizing the already growing 2.5 million gambling addicts in the United States as estimated by the National Gambling Impact Commission, from whom casinos draw the vast majority of their profits. Addicts preyed on addicted senior citizens, pressing buttons and losing their savings, perhaps while adjusting a colostomy bag, which is a common tragic sight in Atlantic City. After construction, the casino will draw skilled workers for table games and management from out of state, not locally. They're not going to spend money for training. I don't believe them. Permanent jobs are low paying. Only 39.1% of casino employees earn a living wage. This is a fact. I urge you to consider the Faustian nature of this Tammany Hall era reminiscent pact, which will ensure long-term insolvent disappointment in exchange for short-term gains for a single embroiled real estate firm. Not only will this demapping negatively impact the other nearby planned Coney Island housing development projects, the new project, but will be a stain on the reputation of the city's political leadership that constituents will remember at the next election, and historians will remember for decades. I urge you to read the research, which I'm going to email over, many think tank studies. There's a lot of research that contradicts the rhetoric, the sneaky rhetoric that they are providing you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Edith White, followed by Eddie Essay.
Good evening. Thank you so much. My name is Eddie. I'm here speaking on behalf of SCF, the Sephardic Community Federation, which represents tens of thousands of people in South Brooklyn who would be most affected by this project. I want to talk about 3 reasons why 90% of the people I speak to in my community are opposed to this project. The first one being it's a casino. Think about the effect that it would have on the neighborhood and specifically youth, and how it would affect our communities and the people that would be most at risk of things like addiction, just becoming gambling addicts. I'm concerned about my brother, my siblings, my nephews, and just the future of all my relatives. I know what gambling is. It's just basic common sense. It's not for a local community of families. Point number 2 being the promises that are being provided by the developer. They're offering constant and continuous promises, but the truth is that the short-term benefits that they're touting just don't outweigh the long-term, not just risk, but the clear harm that it would do to communities, the long-term consequences. The last point being infrastructure. The infrastructure of South Brooklyn simply just does not have the capability to withstand the traffic that it would bring. And, you know, everything that would bring if a casino was erected in the area. Our drainage systems can't support it. And traffic just, you know, there's not enough space to support it in general. So I think it's very clear that the community that I come from, tens of thousands of people most affected by this, a huge part of the area, are clearly opposed to it. Everybody, pretty much everybody I speak to. And I think it's not a question. It shouldn't be a question, this whole thing.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Johnny Wen, followed by Greg Benson.
Hello, everyone. My name is Johnny Wynn. I moved to Brighton Beach about 3 years ago. I come from the Bay Area, which, if you guys don't know about, is a place where a lot of very successful companies moved in. And then, as you don't know if you know, but all the housing got priced out because those jobs aren't for you. People who get paid well will move in and take your housing, and then it's basically and then the crime rates go up. That happened in the Bay Area as well. But I'm not great at facts, and I'm not great at logic. So I wrote. Here we go. So I wrote a poem. Coney by the Sea, a symbol of New York City summer, letting fireworks fly on fun Friday nights, like candy in the sky, sweet sounds of joy and laughter washes away with the waves, leaving peace and memories in their wake. As seasons change, so does Coney by the Sea, but is not for sale, especially not to greed. It will not stand for debauchery. More than a beach, it is a place of resiliency, a place of rest. It is our plea, pleasure, and duty to protect Coney by the Sea for the children and the local community, not to sell their souls for money to increase wealth disparity. Deafening cries of bankruptcy, addiction, and eviction crowd our streets. Coney by the Sea is a place to feel free, a safe space for the tired and weary, not a capitalistic machine to squeeze those struggling to breathe. You can purchase the power, try to steal the land, but you cannot take our Coney. We will say it as loud as we can and pray democracy still works. Feel the quietness, see the safety, all the smiling faces of local families. Is this who the casino is looking to serve? If Coney by the Sea is for sale, who is the casino going to hurt? Is that all your neighbors are worth?
Thank you.
The next speaker is Greg Benson, followed by Joseph Watson.
Hey, everybody. I'm disappointed that I have to open my remarks like this because I'm seeing a lot of people I disagree with, white folks being disrespectful to a lot of black folks in here. So like, we knock it off. We're better than that. All right. And next, I want to talk to the people that I do disagree with, because honestly, I've been hearing what you're saying tonight and I get it, right? Like, you know, I live in South Brooklyn. I was down in Coney Island twice a week this fall and winter. Parts of it aren't doing great. And I totally get it when you're like, you know what, we need jobs, we need infrastructure, we need income. How are mermaids going to help that? I get that. But I'm telling you guys, this ain't the way. I don't trust these people. I don't trust them at all. They keep giving us the same old tired line. Oh, give us some of your city. Give us some of your culture. Give us some of your real estate. And you know what? Eventually you'll get a little bit back. We deserve better than scraps, guys. We deserve better than handouts from these people. Like, so many other folks have been up here, have talked about the flaws in the plan that's been laid out. All right. Where's all the traffic going to go? How are we actually going to get the transportation in there? Property values, crime. Also, I just got to say my absolute favorite part, that they're going to continue to advocate for a ferry stop there. So thanks for that postcard writing campaign, guys. They're not the people to put our faith in. We need someone like that. And it used to be the government. You know, I would love to work with a lot of people in here who I'm seeing holding signs that are the opposite of the one that I have, to get leaders elected in this city and in Brooklyn and in this country that are going to actually stand up for residents. All right. This is a country that used to have governments that actually served the people. Let's make them do it again. Not these people, elected leaders. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Joseph Watson, followed by Kai Holloman.
Yes, good evening. I don't know, somebody left their glasses here. I don't know if these are yours, sir. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm here. I speak as a resident who's a father of a teenage son and an owner of a mentoring organization called the Mentorship Program, which teaches entrepreneurial, and business ownership skills to youth, teens, young adults alike. So the lens that I look through borders mainly around the growth and development of community people. When I look at the opposition, and it lists addictions, bankruptcy, evictions, traffic jams, etc., it kind of boggles my mind because those are currently the issues that we feel we need investments for. In our community, Coney Island could finally address these issues. Truth is, if those issues were concerned that the opposition passionately opposed, then they've been drastically asleep at the wheel for decades. And it's time for those who are providing a real plan to finally get their turn at bat. I love the same things that most of everybody in here does. They love the aesthetics of Coney Island, being able to bring family and take pictures on the beach and so on and so forth. Right? But there's people that live past the beaches there, Black and brown folks in NYCHA apartments, struggling families, forgotten youth. And it's more than coming out being nasty and disrespectful when your realities don't mirror the same as the young men and women and parents and families who could benefit from the jobs that could actually come from the Coney. So instead of just looking for hopeful sound bites and getting, some traction on social media, these employment opportunities themselves can make a world of difference in the lives of many families. And unfortunately, it's a lot of those families that a lot of you don't even consider when you walk past them in the streets.
Thank you so much
But
for your
meanwhile,
comments.
you say that you're here for the people of Coney Island.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and I am for the Coney.
The next speaker is Kai Holloman, followed by Victoria Siegler. Okay, the next speaker then is, I'm not totally sure. Oh. Okay.
I lost my best friend to gambling. Everyone who wants a casino, I don't have a best friend anymore, okay? I want to know what you think about that. What do you think about that? The only reason it happened is because they moved and they were near a casino and they got sucked in, and now I don't have a best friend anymore. And it's been years and I still haven't, no one's replaced them. You're gonna put a literal shadow over what's a utopia of diversity in New York. And like you said, you think the baseball stadium, they promised you something and they broke their promise. This is another broken promise waiting to happen. You are gonna destroy people's lives. People are gonna get addicted to gambling. You're gonna have drunk drivers. You're gonna have kids building sandcastles on the beach with drunks stumbling out of the casino, trashing their sandcastles. There's gonna be a shadow over the ocean. Is this what you want? Is this what you want? You're gonna ruin it. I want my best friend back.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Angela Rochwig, followed by Ariella Jennings.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Kravchenko. Thank you. And I want to say a few words about street demapping because I believe that's what we're talking today about, street demapping. So it's a fancy word for a land grab, for transferred public land to the hands of developers. More or less connected, but anyway, giving away those lands. And we've been told without giving away those streets, we can't have any improvements. We can't have sidewalk being fixed. We can't plant trees, which is not true. We can't. There is a city budget for this. And city budget comes from our taxes. We already paid for it. If we want trees, we'll ask for trees. If we need streets to be fixed, we will ask for our streets and pavement to be fixed. And if we need flood protection, we'll ask our city agency for flood protection. We don't have to rely on developer, any kind, casino, any kind. And Coney Island is not anti-development. We have a lot of new affordable housing building in. We welcome affordable housing. Please bring it in. It will be there. And we need people who stand up for Coney Island, who stands for our rights. So please don't gamble with Coney Island streets. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ariella Jennings, followed by John Morgan.
Good evening. My name is Arvetta Jennings. Okay, honestly, the land belongs to them. They're going to do whatever they're going to do regardless. So why not? Let's get something. Now, I've heard everybody's opinion up here tonight about the addiction, that the gambling, the drugs, or whatever. I don't see anybody holding up signs saying, do not open a key food because of obesity. I eat donuts. I eat potato chips. Who's stopping us? Why? Who's stopping riots? Nobody's stopping them. Now you're saying that, okay, the people that live in the projects, unfortunately, some of us grew up in low poverty areas. So unfortunately, it recycles. None of us was able to go to Harvard, Yale, or whatever. So now you have parents that's having children. Coney Island is a long commute from Manhattan or downtown Brooklyn here. Now parents have to travel an hour and a half to work, an hour and a half back. If they could get a job 10 minutes away from home so they can get home to feed their kids a nutritious, balanced meal, not Franks, not beans, not hamburgers, but an honest meal. Then you're saying the kids are robbing. The robbery, of course they're robbing. Nobody's home watching them. Nobody could afford childcare. Maybe parents can do their homework with their kids. Maybe they can, you know, take them to church and stuff. You can't do anything if you have no jobs. We need jobs. No, but it should be a concern, because then you're going to say, my black and brown boy robbed you, but who's home with them? Who's home with them? Let us be home. Let these parents have jobs nearby so they can get home and raise their kids, and then maybe they can get a better education and go to college. Children are raising their kids. If y'all want to picket Briars, picket.
Thank you. The next speaker is John Morgan, followed by Eddie Watson.
Excuse
Hello.
me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is John Morgan. I've been a resident of Brooklyn for over 20 years, and I've frequented Coney Island since I was in middle school and into adulthood. And just a couple years ago, got to be a part of their film festival, which was a really huge cultural and community hub. I think a lot of the concerns for people that are in favor of the casino is the short-sightedness of lucrative jobs being made available and readily available. But I think a better question should be, isn't there a better bid than a casino proposal for jobs? There are certainly better opportunities that can be drummed up by a private equity corporation than that. Casinos historically are a formula and business model created by organized criminals. And if you want to consider the success rates of those business models and where they thrive, they're in the middle of a fucking desert. If you guys want to see the values of your homes depleted and sold out down the road, the longevity of this development only shares with you more destitute. You might have a job tomorrow, but a year from then, you won't have a home. You'll be displaced. There is an inevitability with this model to displace people. Already, your community suffers from a terrible crime rate, and it will only get worse as a result of the culture or lack of culture that this promotes. With that said, I think it's important to focus on not just the job climate in your community, but also how this is going to destroy the overall culture of your community. You're already saying it. What culture? They're already there on the other side of the room touting it. There's a sign saying exactly what anti-culture this promotes. I do hope that you guys gather some clarity from this meeting. I really have myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Eddie Watson, followed by Obsidian.
As you can see, I'm for Coney. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Listen, I've been hearing a few things as people are still talking very rudely. I've been hearing people talk about crime and addiction and gambling as if that's not going on right now. And those of you that don't want no casino, every time you walk into that liquor store and you got a lotto ticket, you get a scratch off, guess what you're doing? Do you know how many people that come in there and spend $200, $300, $400 on lottery tickets? And the reason they doing that because they don't have any money. That's gambling. On the back of the ticket, it says, if you have a problem with gambling, call Gamblers Anonymous. So then what are we talking about here? And then you got people sitting there saying, well, most people coming here, they coming here because they got paid. Maybe they got paid to come here because there's no jobs in Coney Island. And when I look at people, it's so funny, the tension and there's no decorum. I've been hearing cursing. I've been hearing such venom. At one point, I thought I saw a MAGA hat on some people. Because this is where we are right now. And to me, that is a shame. That is a shame because we're talking about jobs and building up the community. Because I walk the streets over there in Coney and it's dark out there. And if some of you seen people that look like me, you will cross the street or you will call the cops. So let's not play around because again, like I said before, if we're going to come up here, we're going to talk, let's have some decorum. I see somebody pulling their chest up, they're cursing like we're kids in here. We're grown people. And grown people that can't come into a meeting and have a debate and agree to disagree about what they like and what they don't like. And and this is where we at right now. To me, that's a problem. And if you don't see it as a problem, then what else? Because who else is coming to Coney talking about doing anything? Who else is talking about a vision? These same small business you talk about, I don't see none of the people in there that look like me. These same small business, none of the people look like me or trying to hire somebody that looks like me. So let's stop playing the games. Let's tell the truth. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Obsidian, followed by Barb Smith.
Please hold your responses so that we can hear everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Obsidian, and I was voted as Miss Coney Island 2025. Thank you. I just want to say that historically and statistically, casinos target communities that they feel are vulnerable so that they can manipulate them with false promises. And I want everyone to consider that and do their research because I don't want to see any of you, I don't want to see anyone in Coney Island to be screwed over. I don't want to see anyone getting screwed over here, okay? So please consider historically what has happened to the communities around casinos. Now, during my campaign for Miss Coney Island, I went around the neighborhood and I asked people, what is the first thing to come to mind when I say Coney Island? And their answers were all spoken with eyes full of joy and wonder. They said family fun, history, sideshow, tradition, mermaids, beach days, sharing classic good times with our children. As a performer here in Coney Island, I have seen families come to the shows for generations. They tell us that it makes them feel connected to their parents and their grandparents, that their parents took them here. Now they can share the same memories with their own children. How special is that? Now, when I go around and I say, what comes to mind when I say casino? The answers are all spoken with disappointed eyes. They say addiction, gambling, drunk men, exploitation, failure, crime, not something I feel safe having children around. So Coney Island has always been known as the people's playground, not the rich man's playground. So please help us keep it that way. Help us keep it a place that is safe for families. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Barb Smith, followed by Joe Myers. And okay, the next speaker then is Deborah. Okay. After Joe Myers, it's Deborah Carter.
Good afternoon. My name is Mr. Myers. If you disrespect me, I will see you outside. Man or woman. I got a girl for you women outside. But we're trying to get this thing started, right? So if you disrespect me, I will
Please
disrespect
hold your
you.
comments.
All right, listen, this is how we're gonna do this, right? This is how we're gonna do this. We're gonna talk real loud so everybody can hear. People go to work. They pay $140 for train fare to get to work. If you get the jobs out in Coney Island, the complex development built, you won't have to pay to go to work. You can walk to work. I know y'all mad, but when we got up this morning, we all thank God. So thank God you was able to get here to say what you need to say and put out what you need to put out. I don't care whether you like the casino, don't care for the casino, because God didn't promise us nothing. When I was born, he ain't put nothing on my told me where I was going to be, where I was going to go, how it was going to happen. He said, live life. It's senior citizens. My mother loved to gamble. My brother back there loved to gamble. If you don't like to gamble, stay in your house. Leave us alone. We're not bothering nobody. What the lady done was absurd with the titty acts. Wow, beautiful. Who said that? Who said that?
Thank you.
The next speaker is Deborah Carter, followed by Katie Packer.
I'd also like to remind each other or this room that we are not to interrupt testimony and there will be no more threats. Okay? That is inappropriate and you will be removed. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Carter. I lived in Coney Island for 60+ years. I've seen great and I have seen disgreat. I have come to the last meetings that you guys are in. I've been threatened by you and your no casinos. I was threatened by one of you to tell me to come outside, that you was going to show me how to live or what to do or whatever the case may be. I'm for the casino. There are 10 developments in Coney Island, 10 developments for Brooklyn South. And we are representatives for a lot of those developments in Coney Island. If they say they want the casino, then as a community representative, we have to work for them. We have to speak for them. And I speak for my development, some, because I have some that live in my development who is against the casino. But what I'm saying is respect belongs to everybody. Whether you like the casino or whether you not like the casino. And what I did not like is the disrespect. And if you're going to bring that disrespect in Coney Island, guess what? We don't need you there. We don't want you there. If you're going to come in our community where we live 60+ and more years with the total disrespect. And I'm going to sit in these meetings and I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me. Now, you don't want the casino, that's your business. But if somebody else wants it, let them. We're not here to tear each other down. We're here to build each other up. And we're going to build Coney Island up because Coney Island is going down.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Katie Packer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Packer, and I am here in favor of the casino. I'm going to speak for the younger generation. I've been in Coney Island for 39 years, born and raised. I lost a lot of friends in Coney Island. I've had friends who were raped on some of these streets that are kind of abandoned on seasons that are not the summertime. So many of these streets that they are trying to move around, they're streets that are not really utilized by many people. So we need to look at that. We need to look at our community. The gentleman said a poem. He read a poem up here, and the word that stuck out to me was resilient. Coney Island is resilient. We do need to bounce back. Coney Island has been down for quite some time, and we need to bring something that's going to bring us up. I work in the school. I'm a special education teacher. I've worked in 329. I've worked in PS 90. A lot of our students, I've also worked at Lincoln High School. A lot of our students leave school. They don't have jobs. They don't have anything to look forward to. Some of them have to find jobs and they don't have money for transportation. So having jobs that are in the community, people that we can actually work with to get those kids those jobs, and they don't have to get on transportation. They don't have to worry about trying to get their first check. Those are things that we're looking for. We're looking for programs where we can get our students involved in these programs so that these students can be trained to work where maybe the casino is just a stepping stone for them. Maybe they get in the door, they get a job, they save up some money, and they move on. I heard a lot of people say that the income that they're going to earn is low income, but it's some income. We have so many people in Coney Island that do not have anything. So we need to get them something to keep our young boys and girls out of prison. It is just out of control, the things that these people go through. But I want to say that I do stand for the Coney, and thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anybody who didn't get a chance to speak that would like to speak, yeah, you can.
Guess the last is the best, right? The reason my family and many of my Coney Island
Can you
neighbors.
please state your name?
My name is Estrudge McLean, and
Thank you.
I've been a longtime resident in Coney Island. I've had a business there. I've worked for various not-for-profit. I sat on the CIDC board appointed by the mayor's office, so I have a long history with the community. The reason as I said before, the reason my family and many of my Coney Island neighbors oppose the casino is for all the reasons you have already heard today and will continue to hear even during this hearing and beyond. And since we're focusing on demapping, I will just focus on that. To me, demapping will allow the project developer to create an environment that will significantly increase congestion on the streets all the way to 37th Street. This peninsula has 2 routes for entries and exits beyond the 3 avenues, Ocean Parkway and Cropsey Avenue. The traffic study that has already presented in the past demonstrates that the extensive impact this project will have on the traffic flow, especially during emergencies when time is critical. Navigating through what we have already heard can be time-consuming and make a crucial difference between life and death. Since this project will coincide with other events, congestion will still be a serious issue, particularly during the summer months, which the developer have no control over the number of people and cars coming into Coney Island. Casinos heavily rely on individuals who gamble with their limited income in hopes of making big money quickly. But in reality, most do not win, as the house always have the advantage. I ask you, are you truly willing to gamble on the future well-being of an entire community for this project? Consider the long-term negative impacts such as increased traffic, pollution, money laundering, because it has happened. Check your newspaper. Anyway, to just sum up, basically, I hope that the borough president will not consider the demapping project.
Thank you.
Moving forward.
The next speaker is Ari Brunson, followed by Mark Murneck.
Hello, I'm Ari Bronson Davidson. I've worked and volunteered at Coney Island, USA over the last decade. I am not for the casino, and we can disagree. I don't, in my opinion, being from the South and seeing the same things promised in Mississippi and Louisiana, believe them. And you can disagree with me. I don't normally stand up for myself personally in public because it is not safe. But I have seen people yell and scream about being bullied tonight. And I also know gaslighting, being a trans woman. I have been called a freak from people behind me tonight. It's not the first time at these meetings. I have seen people mock addiction. You can have your opinion, but if you have not loved someone with addiction, it is not a choice. And you can have your opinions about casinos and addiction, but I have seen this disrespect coming from people then threatening me about disrespecting them, which I have not been doing. That said, I am one of a handful of people skilled at what I do in the world, being a circus sideshow artist. I have performed all over the world. You know who has not hired me in my career? Casinos. Do you know why? They are exclusionary. They do not want people like me or anyone else they're making promises to in front of their clientele. They can tell you they do, but I have a career of being denied access in what I do for a living. So what I'm saying is, yes, we need investment. But one of my places, one of my homes, the French Quarter, doesn't need a casino. It is grown from local culture, local education, and vibrancy. And that's what we could do. No one's getting off a plane in Manhattan in January to take a train to go to a casino in Coney Island. It's not going to happen. So one of the few stages on the world that gives me agency and a microphone in my hand as a trans woman is Coney Island, USA. My wife and I volunteer and do meditation yoga classes out there. And what I'm going to say to you is yes, because we've reclaimed it at Coney Island. I'm a proud freak and I am royalty. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Mark Verneck.
Hi, my name is Mark Murnick, a longtime Brooklyn resident. I'll speak to the demapping. There's no way you guys should be giving away our air rights, our streets. The subject of the casino itself is a different one, but the developer is saying, well, if you don't give it this, we're just not going to give you this money. There's nothing binding in these agreements, these promises in a ULURP. They don't have to do any of it. Don't be fooled. Hopefully our borough president will see through this and realize this is not good for Coney Island. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who did not get the chance to speak that would like to speak? Can you please sign in first? Thank you.
We got it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
How are y'all doing? My name is David Brown. Here's the deal. I know that I have been disrespectful tonight, and here's why. I have been disrespectful tonight because I am a child of a woman who marched through the civil rights movement in the South, and I was taught to speak truth to power. And while I'm speaking truth to power is this. I'm looking over here at a bunch of paid lobbyists who don't even live in Kona. I'm looking over here at a bunch of people who have been duped and hoodwinked and bought off by a developer who looks like a slave owner trading card. And if I've been hearing all these black and brown people that have been bought off, talk about, oh, Coney doesn't employ black and brown people. These places that they're talking about don't serve us. Keita St. Cyr is a woman of color who runs Hot Fix. The point of the matter is this. A casino will destroy this neighborhood. You talk about, oh, this, that, and the third streets. This young lady who said her friend was raped on a side street. Imagine the medical attention if something else had happened and she needed medical attention and there was no way to get through because there was a damn casino. That being said, no casino in Coney.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not dangerous. So
So, I'm Clifton Smith, and I travel here, and I travel here, and I'm from the Bronx. So, I started coming to the Coney Island since '92, when I was 6 years old. I remember, so I've been traveling. I've been traveling in Coney Island since '92. Just in case, and ever since my dad drove us to Coney Island, because the reason why I come to Coney Island a lot, because I have my family lives in Coney Island. We do not want any casino at my family's neighborhood. This is the last time I don't want to come to the Coney Island from the Bronx to see any casino. Period. Because the thing is that because I travel around here a lot, coming from Riverdale to Coney Island. Because it takes me 2 hours because it takes me 2 hours to come to Coney because it takes me 2 hours to come to Coney Island from Subway. No. Dude, please, we want this Coney Island to please. We built this Coney Island. We built this Coney Island with no casino, without any casino. Period. So that's all I have to say. I have a long time to go. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who did not get the chance to speak that would like to speak?
Excuse me, the hearing is not concluded. Is there anyone else who has not spoken who would like to sign up to speak? Okay, thank you all very much. So hearing no further comment, this item is closed and this ULURP public hearing is now closed. The Borough President will review this application and submit his recommendation to the City Planning Commission, which will hold its hearing on this item at a later date. As a reminder, members of the public may submit comments to testimony@brooklynbp.nyc.gov for the Borough President's consideration until 5 p.m. on Friday, March 14th. This hearing is now adjourned. Thank you all so much.